Taking off. 5, 4, 3, 2.
So, in one of the most interesting cases of narcissism that I've seen recently, it was just announced that Kanye West is producing a show
Yeah.
starring Jaden Smith, who is playing a young Kanye West
Yeah.
in an alternate reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, you know what? I fucking love it.
I don't. I don't.
You know why?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Lean in. If people are gonna call you, a narcissist, self-indulged, if people are gonna call you an asshole,
Yeah.
right? If no matter what you do, like even before,
No, it's not no matter what you do.
No, because even before Kanye started wearing MAGA hats, did I say it wrong?
He said something that
What
was.
did I say? Kanye. Even before Kanye started wearing MAGA hats and comparing himself to, a bunch of white people who are dead, Walt Disney, and who else did he compare himself to?
God, I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
Even before all of that, right? When he was still wearing, backpack and a polo, the pink polo and the Louis backpack, right?
No, nobody was saying Kanye was a narcissist back then. You know when it really started popping?
Was it My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy? That album?
I don't know what time period this is, but it was during the whole Taylor Swift thing. That's really when it really took a nosedive.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
But he wasn't wrong then, right? Because the whole
He
Taylor
was
Swift
wrong to get on stage. If he does like a press conference afterwards, or if he or even if she's talking in her after award press.
I don't know if he was wrong to get on stage.
Of course he was wrong to get on stage.
What if? So here's what happened during that whole Kanye Taylor Swift thing, right?
Sure.
She was awarded something that clearly she should not have won, right?
Yeah.
So if you see something that's so wrong, do you just have to sit in the audience and let it happen just because it's rude to go up and say in front of the entire room, like, hey, no, this is wrong. This makes no sense. This shouldn't be happening, right?
But that begs the very inevitable question of, okay, well, where does that stop? And according to who is that goal, right? So, for instance, what if Kanye wins an award and somebody thinks that somebody else was justified in winning? Is somebody else allowed to just hop on stage and be like, all right, let me just fucking just do some wild ass shit?
Yeah,
that's fucking chaos.
And no. that is that's a great question, right? Because like you have to kind of at a certain point step back and say, all right, what is the extent to how much are we going to allow this to happen, right? How far can this go? But when you look at the situation from a singular perspective, if you look at just this particular instance, I don't think Kanye was wrong. No,
but that's why it's wrong, is because you can't look at this as an isolated thing. It's like, what does it mean for the awards at large, or what does it mean for presentations at large? Can I no longer do something on stage without the fear of somebody just coming up and just fucking wilding out and just being like, hey, you're great, but also you suck and you shouldn't have won this thing? And it's like,
there's a flip side to that coin, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying as far as like, okay, clearly Beyonce should have won the award that year, and I forget what either.
I think it was like best
award.
Video, like best music video, right?
That was for the like single ladies, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it might have been for single ladies, and then Taylor Swift won the award for like her breakup song, the fifth one on the album of 12
called something
12 songs,
something
12 song album. 7 of them are about breakups.
Nobody.
Come on,
I think
must be trash.
That the Taylor Swift has fans. I think that's a myth. I'm not sure. I've never actually seen a real life Taylor Swift fan.
No, you know what?
I don't know if they're like unicorns. I don't know.
No, I used to have this guy I worked with a guy, right? I said guy.
You want to stress that one more time?
Huge Taylor Swift fan. Saw her live in concert twice.
Yeah.
I was like, no fucking way. You've seen Taylor Swift in concert twice. Like, were they free tickets? Did you get to like fuck her backstage? Like,
Jesus,
right?
No, he could just be a fucking Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah,
Look, now you're gonna make me defend Taylor Swift fans. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it.
But anyway, so back to this whole Kanye thing, right? Again, you might be right. That might have been when, because people was like, oh, he wearing pink polos and backpacks and tight clothes. He a little bit weird, right?
Yeah.
So people would talk a little bit of shit about him then, but you're right. It might be around the Taylor Swift incident where people like started reading like, hey, this guy's an asshole. He's a narcissist. And then
I think Obama said he's an asshole, and that was like everybody's like, you know what? There might be something to it.
Yeah. And then the snowball just continued to roll downhill and get bigger and bigger from there, right? So again, lean in, right? Because he's still one of the most like talked about, one of the most popular celebrities, and he's doing better now than he was then in terms of how big his brand has grown.
Yeah.
So fucking lean in. Make a TV show, not just a movie, an entire 8-episode TV show.
Yeah.
Produced and written and directed by you about a younger you
who is
in an
broadcasting
alternate
this
universe where you're also the shit.
Who's broadcasting this shit?
I don't know.
Who's gonna?
I don't know who's gonna pick it up, but
pick that shit up.
I can almost imagine.
Hulu. It's going directly to Hulu.
I wouldn't be surprised if Hulu picks it up. I wouldn't be surprised if a bigger network picks it up.
That Fox is not picking that up. You will not see that on Fox's.
He's wearing
fall
MAGA
lineup.
hats. Fox might pick this up. They're like they're like, Kanye, in this alternate universe, are you
still a Trump fan?
You still support Trump? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Slavery was a choice. They're like, how many episodes? What time slot do you want? The Monday night at 8.
Fuck it, we'll do Monday and Wednesday nights. How about that? You get
Commercial
both.
free. No commercials during any Kanye produced segment.
We'll keep you away from Friday nights. That's where shows go to die.
But Jaden Smith is jumping on it, which adds a level of
it adds even more narcissism.
Right. Yeah.
Even more narcissism.
Because he's the out there type of motherfucker.
But
too.
he's the out there that thinks his out there is like important. Like meaning like, and I guess to a degree he might be right. Like seeing somebody in a huge spotlight do as many sort of crazy things like him, it makes you it makes you think, hey, I can do crazy things as well, or not even crazy things, but just things that are outside the norm. But also he loves the spotlight, right? Like, and I think because of who his father is, right? Will Smith, I don't know. It seems like he has this air of like, and I'm pretty sure Will's told him, hey, you're there, young man. You can do anything you want. You can be anything you want.
Yeah.
And
when you have Will Smith telling you that since birth, it's like,
proof,
damn,
right? You're right.
I might be able to do anything. And did that wire transfer go through, Dad? All right, good. Yeah, I can do anything.
What's my allowance this month? $1 million? All right, cool.
Yeah.
You're right. I can
only
do
$1 million? We can't bump that.
So I think that there's narcissism going both ways there.
But I don't know. I mean, I can't think of many just absolutely, well, except for his last album. What was that called? Yay? Was that it?
He's had a lot of last albums. He's had like 3 of them in the span of like a month.
Well, there was the one he did with Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
Right? And then Yay, which was like his just solo album.
Then there's like another one, right?
Like Yandy or something like that. Oh, you know what?
Stop paying attention long.
But again, so I thought Ye was garbage. I thought the album he did with Kid Cudi was garbage.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the other one. I think it's called Yandy.
Yeah.
But he released it in a very, very interesting way. Mm-hmm. So he released a sneaker, right? Mm-hmm. One of the new Yeezy sneakers.
Yeah.
And the music was on a flash drive embedded into the shoe itself.
Yeah.
So you had to, it's either like, all right, so like the sneakers cost $180, right? The Yeezys, or 180 or 200, whatever.
Yeah.
If you want the music, you have to buy your shoe open. Well, you have to buy the Yeezys.
Wait, you had to cut the fucking Yeezys open?
It was embedded into the sole of the shoe.
Fuck this guy.
So you'd have to cut the shoes open.
Fuck this dude. Are you fucking serious?
Yo, what a complex situation to put
fucking
anyone
complex. In. What a dick. Like,
it's like, yo, did you hear that album? It was great. Like, I haven't heard it yet. Like, where do I hear it? It's in your shoe. You have to cut it open to listen to the music.
On this note, I'm just gonna fucking start the goddamn show. That is the exact fucking Palpatine laugh that fucking.
You know that's how he laughed when they.
Of course that
this
is. Yeah. All right, let's start this fucking show. Yo, it's your boy Tio. No,
it's your boy Old Rain, real name, no games, no gimmicks.
It's motherfucking Fade Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything TV, media, and film. Fuck, man. God damn it.
Keep it.
It's the Fade Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything TV, media, and film related, along with any other goddamn thing we want to talk about, coming to you live and direct. Heart Studios, Studio H, Baltimore City. What up?
You tell me.
I don't know. I'm tired of fucking screwing up this intro. It's like the fucking it's the yips. Is that what they call it? The yips, when you mess something up once and then it makes you question like everything about it, and then every time you go to try to do it, I know like players go through it.
I've never heard of yips.
The athletes go through it. Like if they start like thinking about like the mechanics of what they do, like if they shoot a free throw and they've always shot it the same way for like their entire career, and then they start thinking about it too much, like should I do this, should I do that, and then it fucks up their whole rhythm.
Yeah. You know what? From an athlete perspective,
yeah.
For me, I don't know if that's a direct correlation.
It is. It's directly
so?
correlated. Yeah. It's like whenever you do something.
I guess like if you do speeches and you fuck up a speech and then you start questioning how you're speaking publicly.
Exactly. Now the shit, because okay, so that's actually a perfect example, because it's like when I do like any sort of public speaking, I'm usually pretty good at it, but I don't know exactly why I can like just easily sort of like talk to like crowds, or be able to like be comfortable in that sort of spotlight. But if I were to really start thinking about it, I guarantee I'd be up there fumbling my words. Two birds of a kind. And I'm like, what? It's two birds. What the fuck are you talking about?
You know what? Like on that topic, you know what infuriates me? When people talk, and I know that sometimes on this podcast I do it just because I'm very laxed. Very relaxed, very chill.
Yeah.
When people are speaking publicly or in front of groups, when they're doing a presentation or they're presenting to like a client, speaking at an event of any type or shape or form, and they use a lot of ums and likes.
Yeah.
I'm like, especially on like conference calls. Have you ever been on a conference call with somebody who's like, so what we're gonna do for the next quarter and the coming months is we're really good. I'm like, holy shit.
Or somebody who uses like the word because they either A, don't know what they're talking about, or two, and I said A and then two,
two,
or B,
but
or B, they lost their train of thought, so then they're just trying to like use that as a placeholder until they actually like remember. But what that does is just it creates this weird time when it's just like you're and then it's just like, what are you trying to get it out?
Yeah. when you're listening to someone speak, a 2-second pause
it's
is
eternity.
An eternity.
It's a fucking eternity.
You're fucking in the quantum realm. I've been here 7 years. It's only been 2 seconds.
Okay, all right. We have no fucking time to waste tonight.
No time.
Let's get it right into the shit. Okay, let's just jump right into this. We've got a packed show today. A lot to talk about. Let's talk about some upcoming movies. Okay, first up, this week we got coming out Long Shot, which is actually your movie that you talked about. That
starring Seth Rogen, Charlize Theron.
Yeah. You got it wrong the last couple of times you said it, but I'm glad you got it right there.
Did I?
I think you said Theron.
No,
I think I know you said that right now, but I think historically you said
Charlize Theron. Yeah.
Theron is maybe
Charlize Theron. She's this. Holy shit!
Oh shit! It's all connected. It's all fucking.
It's all a part of the
together.
same universe.
All right. Then you have The Intruder with I think it's Megan Good and what's his name? The
guy from
Ely?
7 Pounds. Fucking Ely.
Michael
Eli.
Yeah, Michael Ealy, right? The guy from How to Think Like a Man.
Yeah. He was in 7 Pounds.
The guy in all the black movies.
Yeah. That's him. And who is it? It's not Kevin Costner. or
No,
is
no,
it
no, no.
Dave-
It's
Kevin,
fucking what's his name?
fucking he reminds me of Kevin Costner.
Dennis
Quaid.
Yeah,
Dennis
Dennis
Quaid.
Quaid.
Yes.
Yeah.
This movie actually looks really good.
Okay, that's one take. Yeah.
What? It's
Does it look good?
yeah.
Does it?
I do want to see this movie. I'm not sure if I'm going to see it in theaters, to be honest, because I don't typically see these types of movies in theaters anyway.
That would be shocking.
So
if
that
you saw it in
that's
theaters.
not a knock on this particular.
I don't know. It might be a good date night movie. I don't know.
Might be, yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Nice little date night
won't see it
movie.
in theaters.
Yeah.
All
right.
Date night at the crib.
Netflix and chill.
But no, I thought the movie looks pretty good. Like this is a different take on a story that's kind of been told already. Yeah, it is.
It's not a different take. It's the same take. Always the same take.
No, usually it's like a jealous husband or
Do you remember a
jealous
movie
ex-wife.
not too long ago? It was, or maybe a little long ago. It was with what's her name? The woman who's in fuck. She was in Save the Last Dance, and she's gone on to have a pretty good career.
Kristen Stewart.
No,
Wasn't she in Save the Last Dance?
not at all. Kristen Stewart. Just think about that. Girl from Twilight and Save the Last Dance. Does it look like she could dance?
Oh,
Does it even look like she can pretend fake dance?
well, isn't it like I thought there were like two Kristen Stewarts.
No,
Wasn't she in wasn't she in Born Identity? Julia Stiles.
Julia Stiles. Yeah. Again, you think all white women are the same.
Well, no, these two
Yeah,
look
the list.
very differently. I just got. I don't know why I always mix Julia Stiles up with Kirsten Stewart. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, Christians
And Emma Stone.
Yeah, they're interchangeable to you. Again,
And
you think all white women
the
look the
chick
same.
who plays Hermione Granger.
Yeah,
All of them, to me,
all of them are Emma
are
Stone.
the same person.
Okay, but anyways, damn, what's her name? Fucking, what is her name? She has a show. It was on Shonda Rhimes. Fuck, it wasn't How to Get Away with Murder. It's just the other one where she's like the president, where she's like basically trying to either fuck the president or she becomes president or some
The
shit.
secretary, the good wife.
No, she's black.
Madam President.
No, fuck.
Fucking.
Now you're gonna make me look it up. Now I gotta look it up.
Motherfucking.
Motherfucking. You know what I was watching the other day
What?
that I thought was fucking hilarious.
Oh, wait. I know what you're talking about. It has Kerry Washington.
Kerry
in it.
Washington. Kerry
Yes,
Washington
yes.
is the woman I'm looking for. Thank
Okay.
you. I don't know why I fucking blanked on her name so bad. Okay, so fuck. What was the reason why I even brought up Kerry Washington? Oh, the
There was a
movie.
movie she was
yes, a movie with Samuel L. Jackson where it's basically the same thing, where he's like a retired cop or some shit, and her and her husband, who's white, just move into like the neighborhood. It's something terrace. Like
Lakeview Terrace.
Lakeview Terrace or some shit like
I
that.
know my movies.
Okay. You could have helped me come up with that like a long time ago, but thanks.
Well, no, you were giving bad clues.
Well, you led me down the path of Kerry Washington. That's all I could think. But I did say Samuel L. Jackson, didn't I? Probably not.
Wow, yeah.
I'll have to look back at the tape.
No. You just said Samuel L. Jackson. You didn't say it before. But no, so Lakeview Terrace was about Samuel L. Jackson was a police officer who lived in the neighborhood, who terrorized this couple. Was it?
It was racial reasons.
If I'm correct, is because a black woman was dating this white doctor, right?
Correct.
A little bit different than this particular story, right? Whereas, I feel like the audience is somewhat going to sympathize with Dennis Quaid's character, and like he's a man who has kind of like lost everything, right? I think in the movie he lost his wife to cancer, or
Same thing.
or
With,
maybe she
Terrace.
just left him.
Same thing with like
Did Samuel L. Jackson lose his wife?
He doesn't have a family, or either he did have a wife and she either left or cheated, or same thing.
I don't know if the movie, if that particular movie like really dove into that.
No, but like I remember specifically, like he either had.
I wouldn't
a
be
family.
surprised if his family left because he's a police officer, and you know how like taxing that could be on your family, and so let's run with that. Okay, his wife left him, but not because of the reasons why Dennis Quaid's character left him. Because I believe in this movie she has a cancer or something.
Oh my
she
God.
died. Anyway,
it's the same fucking movie.
Listen, no.
Right.
Listen. So wife is deceased, and so he's lost that part of his life, and now he's losing his home to this black guy with green eyes and a G-Wagon. right? And this bad shorty. I would be upset too. I would set up cameras in the house too.
You should definitely. I don't know if you looked into this yet, but you should definitely try.
I should write like movie trailers.
No, not at all. No, you'd be terrible.
I'm definitely gonna start that movie naming company.
Okay, you could try that, but also you should try to be look into being a lawyer, because you try so hard to make something that just, even if you have like a little bit of a point, you like. Because I've known you for so long, I'm just
I'll tie this up in litigation at the
you're
drop
saying
of a
is
dime.
bullshit, right? Like you're just saying a lot of things, but also saying absolutely
I'm
nothing.
gonna request that this hearing be postponed for further litigation.
Here are the reasons why. Well, his wife died.
I'm gonna present new evidence every
his wife
trial.
left him, and we don't know if that, and that makes you sympathize. And we're just like, okay, I need you to stop talking, so I'll agree.
You know what? So I actually was in court not too long ago.
Uh-oh.
I won't say why, but so I
Public records.
I was in court yesterday, and in this particular hearing, I was representing myself because I didn't need to hire a lawyer. In
this is Martin from
instance.
fucking when you went to court. And,
no, it wasn't that animated. But in the hearing, I represented myself well. I did my research. I knew my shit. I had like the correct documents, and I referenced the correct cases, and I did everything right. And then at one point, the judge stopped and he asked me. He was like, like what do you do for work? Because you are presenting yourself as if you are either in law school or if you work at like a legal practice, or you might be a practicing attorney or something like that. And I was like, no. Law and Order SVU.
Wait, did you actually say that?
Yeah. Yeah. And then,
you clearly got off, because when you present that much swag to the fucking judge, he's got to be like, all right, fuck it, you got it.
He was a bit impressed at how I represented myself, and I think it played well.
Yeah,
I didn't get hurt in that case at all.
Okay,
I got the W.
No, there you know
what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is always a good feeling.
That was always a good feeling.
Even if it's a traffic case, right?
Yeah.
And you're like contesting a speeding ticket.
Yeah.
If you beat it, don't you feel like you just fucking beat a grand jury indictment for like trafficking cocaine or something like that? You're like, well, you can't fucking touch me.
Okay, I was gonna drop a bomb for you, but you just ruined it. All right.
You're like, look at me. I'm the bad guy. You'll never see a bad guy dressed like this again.
Has there ever been a greater line in the movie?
I don't think so. I use that a lot.
Look at me. I'm the bad guy. You'll never see a bad guy like this again. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, that's actually going to factor into something else we're going to talk about.
You should have dropped the bomb, because that was fire.
I didn't. No.
Where I went with that.
No. You ruined it. You were good. Then you ruined it. And then you made a valiant comeback, but the comeback was not worth a bomb.
Not a comeback. Okay. Never left. Never left.
All right. And then we got Ugly Dolls. Don't know what that's about. Don't really care.
Nope.
Okay. And on streaming, which usually this is where I would say just Netflix, but it looks like Hulu.
Hulu was listening to the last few episodes, and they're like,
weren't they?
Yo,
you gotta get shit together. These motherfuckers.
Get the strap.
I don't know why they try to shoot me, but all right.
I feel like everybody at Hulu works from home.
Probably. That's probably why their numbers look like that. Like I know what Hulu's numbers look like.
They just text the entire business operation. Did you get that movie up yet? No. All right. Well, it's 5 o'clock.
Sad face.
I'm done. I'm signing off.
Sleepy face.
Yeah, sad face. Like, oh, you didn't get those 7 new movies up? Like, yes.
Shoulder shrug.
Yeah. Kanye gif. And that's how they run the business. Fucking Hulu.
All right, so Hulu's got out this week. Ask Dr. Ruth, which I really wanted to watch all like the trailers for this shit, but I just never got around to it. So Hulu's got that coming out on Netflix this particular week. Knock Down the House, Munific 2, A Pisar de Todo, All in My Family, Allies, Alice ist gut. Is that in German? What the fuck? Anyways, Cupcake and Dino, General Services Season 2, Dead to Me, Extremely. This is the Zac Efron movie about Bundy. Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil. No. I maintenance the beginning of this to say the only Hulu film was Ask Dr. Ruth. This is all. Okay. The rest of this is Netflix. All right. But Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile is the Netflix film about Ted Bundy, starring Zac Efron and some other people who I have not looked up the IMDb for.
They're banking that entire movie on Zac Efron. They're like, yo,
I mean, really, honestly, you don't really need that much.
Script is shit. The writing is shit.
How do you feel about Zac Efron? Just real quick, short.
I like him. I don't know. I think he's, I feel bad for him because he's he's a very handsome guy. Like let's not dance around
pigeonhole him.
Very handsome guy, but he's also in the variety of movies I've seen him in, very talented actor.
Yeah, he's a very talented actor.
But he is going to get pigeonholed because he's so attractive.
Yeah. But I think a movie like this does wonders for him.
Yeah.
I think because it capitalizes on both, right? It takes Ted Bundy, famously, wasn't that bad of a looking guy, and that fed into essentially what he was, which is a fucking sadistic murderer. You know.
You know what I learned about Ted Bundy? He worked at a suicide prevention hotline.
I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, it does not shock me.
But look at the dynamics of that, right? So he spends his time working at this hotline preventing people from taking their own lives. Yeah. Only to take people's lives. But
all that is about hypocrisy and then also cognitive dissonance, right? Those are two things that are rampant in our society, on personal levels as well as just public levels. Hypocrisy, people's inability to recognize their own hypocrisy, and even me to some degree. I'm also not able sometimes to see my own hypocrisy. But then when I sit down and I actually think about it, that's like the key, right? You have to think about it. Like you have to see something that somebody else does, and then counter that with what you do, and be like, you know what? Am I being hypocritical? Like they did some shit, and I did the same exact shit, but I'm making excuses for myself while not making any excuses for them. Is that not hypocritical?
In most cases, I would use the word hypocrisy here. I don't know if that's the one that hits the nail on the head, right?
For Bundy being
Bundy.
It does because
I feel like it's so much more complex and so much larger.
But that's where I'm saying that's cognitive dissonance, meaning that you're, in one hand, helping people, preventing them from committing suicide. On the other hand, And again, I'm not that familiar with Ted Bundy, his whole situation, but I think he talked people into killing themselves. I don't know if he actually killed anybody himself.
Well, that's good.
Is that a yeah?
I'm pretty sure he
actually murdered them.
He might have knifed up a few people, or
no, fair enough. I'm not
blam.
Blam. Way to make him sound like he's from Crenshaw or some shit.
Yo, if I get killed, and the person is holding the gun sideways,
oh yeah,
does that
that's
make
a bad way to go?
Does that make you more upset? At least
it does.
Be a professional. Hold the gun right.
You get shot, and then you're not fucking holding it. You're
hold it right side
correctly.
Hand underneath your non-dominant hand underneath your dominant
while
hand.
You're bleeding out. You're just turn it sideways. It's a side
the
up.
Trigger. Don't pull it. Fuck.
Call the ambulance. All right. Also coming out on Netflix is Flinch, Joe Pilho, The Dawning Rage, The Last Summer, and Abyss, and some throwback picks for Netflix this week is Scarface. They got
digitally remastered.
The bad guy. He's I don't know if it is. I don't know.
I hope so. It has to be
unremastered.
It can be the original. I can't watch that today.
Oh, you will watch it and you will fucking love it. I remember watching the VHS version and just shit.
There's still people who haven't seen Scarface.
Well, those people don't exist in my universe. So, all right, and then a trilogy that actually plays a huge part in the wisdom I'm going to drop a little later. Just remember that the Matrix trilogy,
the whole thing,
the whole Matrix trilogy.
Yo.
I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Listen, I committed to something this weekend with someone that I've been looking for a reason to back out of anyway.
And this was exactly
this
it.
Might be it. Matrix trilogy.
Matrix trilogy dropping on Netflix this week.
So
yeah.
I'm gonna be late.
Yeah, late. No, I'm just not gonna show up.
Gonna be 1 week late. We're gonna have to push this to next weekend.
Yeah. Okay. So we got all that business out of the way, all that jazz. there was one trailer that came out this week that clearly has everybody talking. No, it's not for like the new Marvel movie. No, it's not for something great with Will Smith or somebody. No, it's Sonic the fucking Hedgehog. That's what we've got coming out.
Did it have Knuckles in it at least?
No, and you know what? At this point, even if they had Knuckles in it, even if they had what's the other dude, the guy who's like bad but kind of not bad. What was the other guy? The other speed guy?
I don't know.
Not Knuckles. Is Knuckles the other one?
I only ever knew about Knuckles.
Didn't they have one that was like the opposite of Sonic?
I think so, but
fuck him. All right.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
So yeah, so we had Sonic the Hedgehog with James Marsden. Is that his name? The guy who played Cyclops.
Yeah. What's wrong with it?
Yeah. It's just like yeah. Why not? Yeah, sure.
If it's not his name, it is now.
Yeah. Okay, so James Marsden, who was in Superman Returns, pretty much he's in all like the superhero movies, save for anything that Marvel does that's actually good. And I think there were a couple of Jim Carrey is in it playing the professor. I don't know what was the professor's name. I don't in Sonic. Something.
Professor. Run with it.
Probably for like Professor X or some shit. They can't do that.
Would be, this whole movie would get shut down.
Strong conflicts of interest there.
Fuck yeah. You can't name anyone ever.
Yeah, you can't. You can't get away with that. There's got to be like XY or something like Professor XY.
And that's
chromosome.
Confusing. You have to change your own name.
Yeah.
At that point, for a fictional character, you have to change your name. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Like if he got hit with a subpoena, like in the middle of the movie, like, sir, can you we just need you to go ahead and just change your name to literally anything else.
If like if your last name was Skywalker and your parents actually named you Luke, and then George Lucas is like, hey, listen,
cease and desist.
I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you to swap that shit out. You're like, no. But then the court rules in his favor. You're like, George,
he had it first.
Why are you doing this to me?
I gotta go change my license. I gotta go to the fucking NBA now.
That would suck.
Why'd you wait till I was 29 to do it?
I have kids. Their entire lives, they've known me as Luke. Now I have to become a different person? He's like, yeah, I'm going to need your kids too. And I want your wife.
The whole Skywalker clan, all of them.
Everybody
was changed. Holy shit. Okay. All right, so we're moving past, and I sped past all that, although that took like 30 minutes to get through.
Wait, let's Sonic really quickly.
I was going so fast.
Forgot about it so quickly.
Fuck Sonic. It looks stupid.
Sonic.
we don't even care to even get the name right.
The Nova Scotian version of this film.
He fucking
sleds or skis or some shit like that. He's not fast.
This Sonic
fast
is
on the
really
skis.
he's really pale. He's he seems like he needs some sun.
He's got some winter gear now. He's often on the slopes. I saw half of the trailer. I was unimpressed. I really want to understand why this movie was made.
There is no reason at all. Honestly. I think it's because it's like there are a lot of properties now getting obviously like made into movies. Mm-hmm. You have all these Disney movies that are being remade. So I just think they're trying to take advantage of this fucking moment in time we're in, where it's just like, yo, if you got any property that you haven't used in like 10 years, use it now.
Yeah,
I guess it's
then I wonder, especially with this huge female energy right now, right? Really great positive female energy. Sailor Moon.
Yo,
somebody go for it. I fucking love Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
The Powerpuff Girls turned that into a live action movie.
I will not accept that.
Yo,
no, you leave that. Animated.
Not with grown women though.
Yeah.
With
you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm saying they should not do any of this. No.
Mojo Jojo. Live action.
No,
just fucking
don't
dope.
do any of this. Although I am gonna do. I've got my plans for a certain anime series.
Which one?
Don't worry about that. I can't let that out into the ether.
So they announced one big anime that's coming out is Cowboy Bebop.
Oh really? I never really watched that.
They announced probably. I mean, my top 5 I'm gonna put out there would be like Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, Cowboy Bebop, Gundam Wing.
Yeah, Gundam Wing was one I really tried to get into and just never could.
Yeah, Big.
And there's like
was my
3,000 different like Gundam Wing series, right?
There are a lot. I think it had like a lot of different.
Yeah.
This and that.
It was like watching soccer. I just didn't. I didn't understand what league I was watching. I didn't know any of the players. I was just like, I'm good.
So, but about Cowboy Bebop, they announced one of the big, and I'm trying to pull it up right now, but like the main actor in it, or someone who recently joined the cast was the guy from The Walking Dead, the Asian guy. I feel terrible that I don't know his name.
I love how we just, the black guy over there. Do we ever say that for the white guy?
No, because there's so many of them.
The white guy.
64%.
No, okay. Well, no. It depends on what we're talking about. I think if it's like if we're talking about like,
if we're talking about basketball, right, and like like the
Warriors, it's all
like
about the numbers,
guy.
Right. Yeah. Because then everybody will know who you're talking about. Like, it's not as if you'll be confused, like,
in
which one?
White dominated
arenas,
right? That's when
that's what I'm saying. Is just like, it just makes sense. Like, okay, so like on the Warriors, you'll be like the black guy on the Warriors. You'd be like, who?
Yeah,
who the fuck are you talking
about? But so the actor I'm talking about is Steven Yeun.
Steven Yeun, okay.
Who plays Glenn Rhee on Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So he's going to be in Cowboy Bebop, which,
okay.
When I saw that, I was like, hey, they're bringing incredible actors onto it. So I want to see that come to life.
they're not just bringing people off the street.
It's not just Lindsay Lohan and Tara Reid on the cast.
Aren't those two like the fucking kisses of death? When you if you had them on your project, you just like, this project isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. Because to even give them a call, whoever has to pick up the phone and call Lindsay Lohan,
that's a dark day
to come in to work.
That's like the day when you just think about your life and all the choices you made to lead you up to that moment. Here? Yeah.
How?
Yeah. The record stops.
Yeah.
Screeches. Hey guys,
you pick up the phone to
that's
call
me
Lindsay.
Right there. You're probably wondering how I got here.
That's when you're at home by yourself. There's no furniture in your place because your wife and your kids have left, right? They're gone. They're not coming back, right? Yeah. She would have left the furniture if there was a hope of her coming back.
There's a bottle of the lowest shelf vodka.
Bullet. Not like, high quality, no Woodford Reserve, no Maker's Mark. Bullet.
The lowest quality shit. It's half empty and it's like it's pouring out on the floor or some shit. You don't even care.
Yeah,
You're just
and you just have an overhead lamp.
Just a bulb. No fucking no shade around it.
She wanted to fuck you one last time, and she didn't pay the BGE bill for 3 months, and moved out the day they were gonna cut it off. You just got an overhead lamp, solar powered, and then your boss
it's solar powered, but it's not on because it's dark outside. It's been dark for the last like 5 days,
and then you just get that text, and your battery's already on like 12%. Yeah. So the last call you make is gonna be to Lindsay Lohan, but you've got to fucking make it because your job's on the line. She turns you down
at first. She's like, that doesn't really sound like something I want to get behind.
I've been drinking all day. I can't do it. That's the only likely scenario where anyone willingly or not willingly, no one does that. Anyone calls Lindsay Lohan
to get in their film. All right. Anyways, let's wrap this shit up about Sonic. All right, it looks trash. It's probably going to be trash. Let's move on. All right.
Great synopsis.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's get to the shit that we actually want to get to. But right before we do, we do have a
church announcements.
A notable death. John Singleton, the fucking great mind behind a lot of the films that fucking just shaped our fucking childhood and how we perceive. Boys in the Hood gets all the credit, which it should. It's one of the quintessential films. If you're looking at black films, that's like ground zero. Is Boys in the Hood. But you have Poetic Justice, Higher Learning. You've got Baby Boy.
Yeah.
That was a formative.
Another staple.
Yeah, a very big, huge
community.
staple in the black community. Four Brothers, Hustle and Flow. Black Snake Moan. I didn't know he. That was the one with Samuel L. Jackson, right?
Yep.
Oh, but he did. I don't think he directed that. I think he just
was a part of the project.
produced that. Yeah.
In his most recent work, Snowfall, which is a TV series, which I've heard a lot of great things about. I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes, just because I think it's on like, what was it, on HBO or FX or something like that. It's on a network I don't have, or at least I don't have someone's password and username too. But definitely one that I want to see.
Yeah.
Did you know that he directed the short film Michael Jackson music video "Remember the Time"?
I didn't know that was him, but
one of the best music videos of all time. That, Thriller, Smooth Criminal.
Yeah.
But he directed Remember the Time.
Yeah, you know, I knew it was somebody famous. I just didn't remember that it was John Singleton. Although I think I've seen some sort of either documentary or something about that.
You know, I want to say he may have made a small cameo in the music video, because
I think he did. Everybody as one of the guards.
I think so.
Yeah. So shots out for John Singleton. Yeah. R.I.P. man.
R.I.P.
Yeah, he had a stroke.
Definitely a big loss.
Yeah. All right.
And Trump is still here.
Yeah, you know what? The world is not a just place. It's
Nipsey's gone. John Singleton's gone. And Cutler's still here.
Yo,
fuck.
What's your...
Shit.
I mean, look, I was going to try to fight back against that, but you know what? That tracks. Yeah. That actually makes sense. Yeah.
It's disappointing.
Yeah, that's very disappointing. That's fucked up. We shouldn't be hoping for Jay Cutler's death. That's not where we're...
Not Jay Cutler. We liked him.
I was like, did we?
He was a Pro Bowl quarterback.
What years?
Was he? Did he ever make the Pro Bowl? I said
can't confirm,
Ann Coulter, not Jay Cutler.
Oh, Ann Coulter. I thought you said Jay Cutler.
No.
I was like, yo, shots fired at Jay Cutler for
Praying
no reason.
for random people's death.
All right. Well, my bad, Jay. Although I'm sure Chicago Bear fans would kind of maybe agree with that.
They change every season.
Hey, shout out to Gully.
Yeah, he's the only consistent one.
Hey, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what fucking time it is. It's fucking press play time. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Tee up some bombs, because we're gonna be dropping those.
Hey.
I've got some things to say.
Okay, you took the long breath and everything, so
yeah.
it seems very apparent that you do have some things to say. Look, I'm gonna let you.
No, I was actually gonna let you start.
Wait, well, okay. So
you start with.
Let's.
No, I'll start with Game of Thrones.
No, we're not starting with Game of Thrones. We're saving that for last. That's gonna be a long conversation.
But when we do the Game of Thrones segment,
we'll
I'll start and let you finish the back end of it. I'll start with Endgame.
Yeah. Needless to say, if you have not watched either Endgame or the latest episode, which is the 3rd episode of the season of Game of Thrones, promptly exit this conversation because we will not be holding back. We will not be doing. You know what I see is stupid. People releasing a spoiler-free reviews of them. How the fuck are you gonna do a review of a movie and you're not gonna put any spoilers in it? What are you going to say? It was a movie that existed, came out, tight. Like what the fuck is that? Like that's not anything.
It
That's
was 3 hours long.
A waste of everybody's time.
A lot of CGI.
Yeah. It was about human beings and then aliens. I don't know. Okay, let's jump into the goods. Just to do a quick sort of synopsis of the film. Basically, Avengers Endgame was a film that it was essentially the sequel to Avengers Infinity War, which obviously was sort of the culmination of the Infinity War saga with Thanos' pursuit of the Infinity Stones, which were basically the original, I guess, elements of life or just the universe. Infinity War concluded with Thanos' acquisition of all 6 stones, and then did the famous snap, snapping away, half the known universe, and then literally, Endgame picks up hot off those heels, gets right to the shits. They don't fuck around at all. What do we start with? We start with we start with uh, Captain Marvel's. She goes out and and I should have fucking known this. This was the most basic shit ever. As soon as we saw the end credits or the post credit scene in Captain Marvel, we should have fucking known that that's how
Tony Stark and
Nebula.
Yeah,
you always forget her name.
Space.
Yeah,
I always forget her name. Yeah,
yeah.
I always want to say Gamora.
Yeah, I don't know why. But as soon as we saw the end credits to Captain Marvel, we should have known that that's fucking how Tony Stark and Nebula are saved from their sort of endless drift in space. So we start the movie about 3 weeks after the snap, and then Captain Marvel goes out. She somehow has Tony lowjacked, even though they have no true reason to know that Tony's still alive. As for all they know, he could be snapped away with everybody else. But somehow they just know. They like, you know what? That Tony guy, he's a survivor. You know, Thanos said it. He said he's a survivor, so therefore we believe. And we weren't there for that conversation, but we know it. And then they really just kind of just jump into the shits after that. They're like, man, fuck this nigga. We about to go find him right now. And then they put on their fucking hunting gear and they just go hunt themselves a fucking Thanos. And they, that was the most. That's where I'll start with the things I want to say about the movie. I fucking loved the beginning of the movie. They didn't even hesitate. They were just like, yo, we're getting right into this shit.
Yeah.
Fucking, you think, oh, Thanos, and it's beautiful what they did with Thanos, right? He's fucking farming, he's picking his fucking fruit or vegetables, or whatever the fuck that alien looking shit is. And he's sprinkling a little salt on it. Hey, I want to have myself a little stew, and then bam! Before you could fucking blink an eye, Captain Marvel was on his ass. Fucking Thor chops off his hand. Yeah. And then they're like, what'd you do to the Stones?
But slow it down just a little bit.
I can't. They get right to the shit. So they get
right to it. So again, the movie kind of opens up. Thanos is, he's at his farm, and apparently on this planet, he's the only one that's inhabiting this entire planet, right?
Yeah.
He's the only life force there. Again, aside from plants and animals, maybe, and you kind of question that. Why destroy half of the universe to only be the one person inhabiting an entire planet? You felt a connection with Thanos in Infinity War, and I felt that same thing at the beginning of this movie, where that this is something that I think he may not have really wanted to do, but he know it needed to be done because this is the only way to balance the universe. He even said it in Infinity War when he was talking to Gamora on the ship in that fucking 16,000 square foot
his
loft he carved out for himself. Do you know how much that would cost per month in DC?
That's you'd have to be working for the government in order to support that habit.
No, you'd have to be Jeff Bezos. He's the only person who could afford Thanos.
Well, Bezos is Ultron, so
but so in his conversation with Gamora, he says this is the only way. I'm the only person who knows this, right?
Yeah.
And again, he's on this lonely planet by himself because it's he may not have wanted to do this, but he knew this is the only way, and he was the only person who could do it, and he somewhat regrets it.
Well, that I don't think he regrets it.
Or he doesn't regret it. Yeah. He's remorseful for everything that it cost him.
No, I don't even think
it cost him his daughter, cost him Gamora.
I don't think he's remorseful.
It almost took his life.
I think he understands what he paid for, but he's okay with paying that price for what he deemed as necessary, right? But I think what that beginning part showed of him just kind of going around and just being the only one on this planet is that he actually, in a weird way, what he seeks is peace.
Yeah.
And he knows you have to go through hell to get it, but all he really wants at the end of the day is peace.
Yeah.
So it's not like he fucking snapped away half the universe and just keeps hunting and just keeps going and just keeps killing people. He's just like, yo, I did what I set out to do.
He did the one thing he sought out to do, and
exactly.
It was done. But again, what humanized him in that opening scene was his what he's doing, right? He's going out into his farm. He's picking fruit and vegetables to prepare himself.
That was
a meal,
that was a thing in the comics. And then you see Scarecrow, which is where he rests his armor on. That was definitely airlifted from the comics directly.
But one of the things that stood out is his walk back into his hut, right?
Where he's
his
limping
house.
And shit.
The limp.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I kind of I was like, wait, what? what happened? Is he still hurt from his?
Thor put that fucking axe directly through his chest. There's no way
that's
he's
not what hurt him,
what
right?
hurt him?
Right. So I was wondering. I was like,
Oh,
damn,
it's a snap.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a snap because that's like when we see the glove destroyed, right? And obviously it almost killed him. But again, we didn't really know that when he disappeared into that that teleportation portal, right at the end of Infinity War. I'm thinking he was just gone. He would find a way to heal himself. He would be back. When I saw him limp into his hut, and when I saw him just like kind of like limping around his hut, I was like, damn, there's something not right here.
Yeah.
This is not the Thanos that we saw destroy half the earth in Infinity War. And then you're right. In seconds, Captain Marvel was on his ass, had him in the headlock, and that was like, and even then I expected Thanos to put up some type of fight.
Just any type of fight. He was just like, yo, how'd you guys find out where I live? Where'd you get the address from?
This is not on Google Earth. We're not even on Earth.
This is bullshit.
Yeah, it was like, they're gonna find you one way or
and
another.
then Thor comes in with the hammer, Stormbreaker, and just fucking slices his fucking hand right off. Which is fucking. It was beautiful. It was just fucking gorgeous how that took place. And then obviously they question him. And then I like how Cap and Black Widow just kind of stroll in, like the bosses, like
Cap
he had that strut, like
he just has that presence.
Hey,
like when Cap shows up, everybody knows like the boss is there.
Shit.
You remember that scene in Infinity War? And we're gonna keep going back to Infinity War throughout this conversation.
Yeah.
When the Scarlet Witch and what's that fucking guy?
Vision.
I don't know why I forgot his name. Scarlet Witch and Vision are in the fight with Thanos' children in the train station. Yeah. Right. And then
Cap, she throws the thing at Cap.
And I think she's talking to Scarlet Witch, right?
Yeah.
And then she kind of like peeks behind Scarlet Witch, like, yo, who's over on the other side?
He looks like a boss. I don't know who he is. He looks like a boss.
Right. And then the train goes by, you just see Cap, and like that was one of the hardest intros.
That was the hardest intro
into a movie I've seen.
You know, one question I have though: why did Cap choose the Winter Soldier outfit to go to space with? That was a mystery. I couldn't quite figure that one out.
He chose
like he had his Winter Soldier. Remember like the suit that he wore in Winter Soldier, like when he was a part of SHIELD. Like I don't know if you can remember. Like it was like the blue with the white.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Symbol or whatever on it. So he chose that instead of his normal Captain America like gear, like the one he wore at the end of the film.
Yeah. So
I couldn't quite figure out why.
So I think it's a callback to when you follow the comic books, right? He at a certain point drops the Captain America title. He drops the shield. He becomes the Nomad, which is essentially he no longer represents the United States. Because
but why would he do that? Because of the snap, though.
In here, I don't know. I mean, when you lose that much,
maybe
right?
you feel like you don't deserve.
You probably
to
just
wear
become a different person, or you feel like you failed,
and
you don't deserve to carry the shield.
Maybe, yeah.
Right?
But either way, he strolled in there looking like a fucking straight boss.
Yeah.
Where are the fucking stones?
And
then Thanos says, that he destroyed them.
There wasn't too much conversation in that scene, right? And
no,
obviously,
Thor made sure of that.
Yeah, it was quickly ended by Thor.
Yeah.
Which it kind of like angered you, right? Because you want to hear more from Thanos.
I think at that point we're all done. Like we're done here. Like much like Thor, I think I was done. I was like, you destroyed the stones, cool, we're out of here.
Yeah, but it's like, did they know that was the truth? Was he really telling the truth?
I don't see why.
I mean, obviously Nebula is the one who, and I think they all questioned it at first, right? When Nebula confirmed it, that's when Thor knew, like, all right, this conversation is over. But even then, I think as a viewer, you still want to hear just a little bit more. And we were all kind of surprised with what Thor did because it was so quick and so violent and aggressive.
Yeah, but it was unexpected, but also you can understand the idea behind it, which is I missed you once. I should have gone for the fucking head. Yeah, I should have gone for that. And it was like they knew that was a fucking famous line from the movie, and they definitely capitalized on it, by saying, Thor says, I went for that. Because I think either Cap or somebody says, why'd you do that? And he's like, I went for the head.
Yeah. And then immediately after that scene, and I love the way they did this when they transition into
5 years later,
the current day, right?
Yeah.
At least I did. I thought they were going to go back to like 5 years earlier to tell the story of like what happened immediately after.
Oh no. So that happened where they were. That took place like 3 weeks after Infinity War.
What do you mean? Like
when they go to Thanos and promptly deal with them.
Yeah. So
that was 3 weeks after what happened in Infinity War.
Okay, so again, but like as you're watching the movie, because I didn't catch that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking they're gonna go 5 years earlier. Like maybe it's been 5 years. And no, you know what? I think like for example, when Captain America is sitting with the group of men in the
that's 5 years later,
school.
yeah.
So that's 5 years.
That's the beginning.
Later, right?
That's the beginning of the 5 years later. Yeah.
But where they are when when they found
that's
Thanos
3 weeks later.
That's
yeah.
3 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
During that moment when I was watching the movie, I thought
that was 5 years in the future.
and then I thought when they went, after Thor cut his head off and they went to the next scene, which on the screen, then you saw the 5 years. I thought it was going to say earlier.
So there are a couple of things
later. I was like, holy shit.
Well, there are a couple of things that let you know sort of where you stood at as far as time goes. Black Widow's hair, as well as what's his name? Cap's beard, right? So as soon as the movie starts, you see Cap shaving his beard.
Yeah.
And that's how you know, oh, this shit is like directly after Infinity War or somewhere along that timeline. But then Black Widow's hair lets you also know where you are in a timeline. Like, so she has the straight blonde hair. Not straight blonde. Like all of her hair is blonde.
The dirty blonde.
The dirty blonde.
As white women would say.
I don't even know if that's dirty blonde. I think that might not be the definition of dirty blonde. But she has the blonde hair at the beginning of the movie, and then you see when we flip to 5 years later, she's got the red. It has mostly taken over, and then she's just got like the blonde sort of tips, which indicate that time has passed.
Yeah.
Although I don't. Wouldn't her hair get longer with 5 years gone? What do you think?
One hairstylist had to survive the snap. I mean,
somebody
in New York City, probably 20,000 because everyone's a hairstylist in New York. So I guess there are a few shops still open.
Fair enough. Okay,
I mean, we saw Captain Marvel, right? She
she switched it up.
Yeah, she had the bangs and all.
Yeah. I like that. I like the shorter.
I thought she looked stupid.
Yo, just because you hate Brie Larson, I don't know why, but anyways,
likely.
But anyways, all right. So we flip to 5 years later, and we see where everybody's at, and then yada yada, and maybe the most. No, I'll get to that in a sec. But a rat is what basically sparks everything off, right? Like, if it wasn't for the fucking rat, we would have no Endgame. If it wasn't for a fucking little fucking vermin, we would just have no movie. The movie would be like, damn, that shit was fucked up what Thanos did. All right, who's up for poker on Tuesdays?
Now, so here's why I like that so much, because unless you've been to New York City, not Manhattan, I mean, like,
there are some fucking
Harlem,
rats are basically people.
Bronx, in New York City rats, they're different.
Yeah, they're a little different.
They've acclimated themselves to city life.
Oh yeah, no, like so they put in for property, like they try to rent places,
rent control.
They're they've got 9 to 5s. You know,
the rats are up when you're up. Right? Shit, they're up all. The city never sleeps. Right? Rats are always working.
When you're going to work, they're going to work too.
Yeah,
and they're like, hey, what's up, man?
I'm going to work in your kitchen. You're going to the office. I'm going through your wall. We both have jobs to do.
So the rat plays a big part in how what's his name in the movie? Paul Rudd. I forget.
Paul Rudd, Ant-Man.
But what is he? Because I always want to call him Hank Pym, but Hank Pym's the guy who created Ant. The suit.
What is Paul Rudd's character's name?
You know what? Doesn't even fucking matter.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Ant-Man. So he's the rat is what's responsible for sort of starting the machine. And if we're all remembering, at the end of Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Paul Rudd in the post-credit scenes there, he goes to the quantum realm in the fucking 1935 van, and then he gets trapped in a quantum realm because everybody else gets fucking dusted because of the snap. his girls, the Wasp, she got dusted. Michelle Pfeiffer, she got dusted, and Michael Douglas. Not that I can remember their names in the actual movie. And then so like that, he comes back, realizes, oh shit, what the fuck happened? Yo, wouldn't that be crazy? I was thinking as I was seeing that scene, I was like, wouldn't that be some wild shit that you went away somewhere, or you just had like a really like long sleep or some shit. You woke up and it's 5 years later, and like half the fucking universe is gone.
Yeah, I mean, it happened to few people, but it'll fuck you up. I mean, it happened to Scott Lang here in this movie, right?
Oh, way to look that up on Google. I like it.
Yeah. And our boy from Walking Dead.
Boy from Walking Dead.
Fucking who's the main guy from Walking Dead again?
Oh, I don't watch Walking Dead, but
are
you talking about the sheriff looking guy?
Yeah. God, I need to know his name.
Yeah.
I just fucking need to know it.
Is Rick
Grimes.
Yeah,
I don't know why
Rick
I couldn't
Grimes.
think of that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
he woke up to a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Scott Lang came back.
But it's different when it's like 5 years later, right? Like when you wake up and like, oh shit, the zombie apocalypse is happening. That's like, okay, I can understand that. But when you
you can't.
No, okay, you can't. No,
you can't.
No. What I'm saying is, you at least can see the genesis of it. You see the beginnings of it, right? But when you wake up and people have been gone for 5 years,
yeah, and like half of all living creatures on the planet, not just like
gone.
A lot of people died, like half of all living creatures died.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah,
that's some wild shit to wake up to.
Which would you prefer?
Yeah, waking up and seeing a fucking zombie apocalypse happening outside, because then at least I know where I'm starting from versus it's been 5 fucking years.
Yeah.
What?
You prefer a zombie apocalypse?
Yeah, because as we're gonna get into later, zombies are just stupid.
I'd prefer normal people, just half of them
gone.
Yeah,
nah, that's crazy.
Yeah, what?
Well, I guess because they're gonna get killed anyways by the zombies. So yeah, maybe that's what you. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Give me the people, just less of them. As long as coffee shops are still open.
No, they won't be.
Your boss is probably gone. If you're unhappily married, hopefully your wife is gone, but your kids are there.
Why is hopefully your wife gone? That's your wife.
I said unhappily married. If you're happily married,
why are you unhappily married? You always start off on that basis.
Because most people are. 70% of marriages end in divorce.
70%.
Yeah,
that's a false statistic. It's
real. Google it.
Okay,
Google it. 70% of marriages in the United States.
I will call your
divorce.
bluff. I will call your bluff on this. Keep talking.
Yeah, but I would definitely prefer Scott Lang's problem, because definitely coming back to half the population being gone. Problem. I love the cameo there, and I forget his name. Another terrible. I forget a lot of people's names. I need to start doing brain games. Half of marriages.
Don't. Okay. Well, half of marriages end in divorce.
70%. Same shit.
Oh, okay. So what you meant is 70% of marriages from the 1990s reached 15 years.
Divorce either way.
Yeah, but that's different when you say.
Listen, don't fact check me, bro. So as we said, that New York City rat brought Scott Lang back from the quantum realm, right? Where to him, he's only been gone, like a few seconds, or I forget how much time he said he was in there. Mm-hmm. At least he was in there for a longer period of time than he. No, shit, he was in there for 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
He didn't feel the 5 years, mm-hmm. but when he went in and came out, he went in and then 5 years passed in our world.
Yeah.
And
see, that's interesting, right? Because we saw Captain America at the end of the movie, we saw Captain America go into the quantum realm, and he was gone for 5 seconds, which for him was 7 years?
But Scott Lang stayed
mm-hmm.
in the quantum realm,
mm-hmm.
meaning that he didn't leave the quantum realm. Capped it.
Very true.
Yeah.
It all makes sense now. Thank you. So
that's what I do.
Yeah.
I do.
So Scott came back, and I love the cameo there. I'm not sure if you caught it, but actor Ken Jeong, who plays Mr. Chow.
Yes.
From,
played the security guy.
Yeah, security guard.
It was a very weird because it didn't he didn't do anything. Like he just
a small, interesting.
That's like such a weird cameo.
It's kind of like Brad Pitt's cameo in Deadpool 2. You didn't catch that?
I mean, but that was like hilarious. Literally all
but
Ken Jeong
nobody
did.
knew that was very few people knew that was Brad Pitt. You
Everybody
knew that was
knew
Ken
that.
Jeong.
Fucking looked like Brad Pitt. It was his face. What do you mean?
I mean, he was there. He was in the movie for 2 seconds. At least
No,
Ken
yeah, but it
Jeong
was like funny because he like fucking like hang glided and shit
into the
yeah,
into the wires.
yeah.
I think most people don't know that was him. I think most people do realize that was Ken Jeong.
I'm not even arguing with you about this.
It was he didn't say anything. He didn't really do anything. He just kind of like leaned in and looked in the camera. And then when Scott Lang was like had the cart and he was wheeling away a few things from the truck, he just kind of followed him outside and looked like.
Yeah, but that's like to me that's a weird fucking cameo. He doesn't do anything. Like he just like it'd be different if like he like fucking tripped or I'm like hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, fuck
he
it.
didn't
You
do
were in
anything.
Infinity War,
Yeah.
whatever.
No, I mean or Endgame.
What
but,
time do
yeah.
I have in Endgame? What time do I have to be there? That's the only question.
No, I as the actor, I wouldn't feel any type of way about it. I'd be like, fuck yeah. But as like if you're directing it, it's like that's a weird cameo to have because usually if you have a cameo, you have them do like just like a little short 2-second funny thing
Or
and then they're
have him
gone.
do nothing.
Apparently. Well, actually, and a lot of people are in like so for instance in like Game of Thrones, which we're gonna clearly talk about later, they had like a lot of different cameos. Like so for instance, Mac from It's Always Sunny, he was one of the people who when the Ironborn got what's her name? What's her
Fucking
Yara?
Theon's sister Yara.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yara. When he got the Yara off the ship, he was one of the people that got stuck with the arrow. Like remember the like where you just see the arrows lighting people up. So
Yeah.
Mac was one of the people that got
Really?
stuck with the arrow.
I didn't
yeah.
even catch that.
Yeah.
And they had Ed Sheeran in
Sheeran.
previous episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. But again, usually it's like something where something fucking happens, right? Like or just not just fucking him staring off into the fucking distance. Like, did they pay him actual like his like usual rate, or did they just pay him as a fucking extra? Because that's what he was.
As
an
far
extra.
as I understand, Brad Pitt, all they gave him was for his cameo in Deadpool 2. They just gave him a cup of coffee. That was the only. They didn't pay him any money. They just gave him coffee.
Yeah, I wonder if they gave Ken but you get dressed up like that, you gotta fucking miss your production of whatever show you're shooting at the time.
He's not working right now.
He is. He has his own fucking show. Anyways,
he wasn't working that
let's
day.
fucking move on. All right. So Ant-Man goes and sees he's like, oh fuck, yo. One of the early things that hit me was when he found his daughter.
Oh my god,
that hit me. I'm not gonna lie. That hit me like hard. Like I was just like,
yeah.
Oh, because I completely fucking forgot about her. Like I didn't even know she was I forgot. I didn't even think about that. But then when he goes to find her, I'm thinking, is that his old wife? Like who's he looking at right now?
Yo,
like
the longest few seconds ever, right? Like him knocking on the door, and you're not sure if anyone's gonna answer, and you're thinking no fucking way.
Yeah.
Anyone's gonna answer that door, right? Or at least still be there 5 years later.
Yeah.
And then there is a time when like he's kind of like looking in to see if anyone's coming, and then you see that shadow walking to the door,
and you don't recognize her, so you're just like, who the fuck is he staring at? Like,
exactly. And then you realize, then it like your brain starts to piece it together. Like, wait, that's
and then he says her name,
girl.
and I forget what he says.
What does he call her? Peanut? I think he calls her like Peanut. Or
no. He calls her by
a nickname.
Yeah,
or by
no, he calls her
name?
by name, but I forget what her name is. But it's like Allie or some shit. A very, very white woman name.
Yeah. but you realize, like, and in that moment, obviously, he realized that, like, she's so much older.
Yeah.
And he's putting it all together, like, how much time have I missed?
Yeah.
Especially missing that much time with your kid, and she's older now, and it hit me.
Yeah.
I was like, yo.
Yeah, because then, like, his emotion, too, because then, I mean, like, I've seen Paul Rudd had emotion, but that was a really good scene where he just, the emotion on his face was, it was like genuine. It was just like, oh shit, you're still here, so that was beautiful. But then he quickly goes and finds the rest of the Avengers. He goes and links up with Cap and Black Widow. And I should mention that after they rescue Iron Man, Tony from space, at first damn, that was another fucking scene I forgot to talk about. Oh, when he's talking about as soon as he gets off the fucking ship, the first thing he says to Steve Rogers is, I lost a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, that line hit me. That's the first thing he said. And he looks at him long. Oh, I lost a kid.
Yeah, and like you really didn't realize towards the end until towards the end of Infinity War, because we saw Captain America's appearance in Spider-Man, not Homecoming. No, it was Homecoming.
Yeah, brief appearance.
Yeah, we saw his brief appearance, and they like build a relationship in that.
Oh, no, you're talking about Iron Man in Homecoming.
Iron Man in Spider-Man's
Homecoming. Yeah. Because technically Cap was in there for a cameo, but yeah, you see the relationship that they build, but that clearly starts in Civil War, where Tony finds Peter Parker, and he finds out
yeah,
like,
I
hey,
forgot about that's
you're
where it
Spider-Man.
started.
Exactly.
And then it built in Homecoming,
Builds
and then
in
it
Homecoming.
continued to build in Infinity War.
Exactly.
And then at the end of Infinity War, when when obviously he lost Spider-Man, you realize like, damn,
he cares a lot about him.
Really does care about
Tony.
this kid.
Yeah, Tony like really did, because he looked at him, I imagine, like as just like a little Tony, just a little like kind of smart aleck dude running around fucking doing shit he probably shouldn't be doing,
Yeah.
And so I'm sure he just saw a lot of himself in Parker, or at least that's how they try to position it. And I thought that all kind of felt manufactured, except for this fucking scene where as soon as he fucking gets off that thing, he says what's up to Pepper. But then as soon as he sees Cap, he's like, I lost the kid.
Yeah. And I love the dynamic of their relationship, right? Captain and
I kind of
Iron
hated
Man.
it. There wasn't enough resolution there for me. There was resolution, but it wasn't enough. I really wanted them to see, like, I wanted them to be like, it's my brother.
To like
that's
have
my
it
brother
out.
right here. Yeah.
There was enough there for me, particularly when Iron Man was like, when they were going further back in time, and we'll get to this part, but he asked that question like, "Do you trust me?"
Oh yeah.
And then Cap says yes, and that's all I needed right there.
I wanted that to be in a different space though. That was at a space where it was just like, we kind of have no choice here. Either we do this or we don't. Like,
well, I mean,
either
but
you
that's
do this
it,
or we're
right?
fucked.
It's like, if we do this, this could be it. We're done. And I need to know you trust me, because you have to both be in it together.
Yeah.
So I feel like for me that was important. It couldn't have been at a more relaxed, or in a more relaxed scene where they're not making a crucial decision together.
Yeah.
It had to be in a situation like this.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, so Ant-Man finds them, and they all link up. Then they go talk to Tony about possibly doing
Exploring the time
quantum
travel,
realm. Yeah. And he basically says go fuck off, because he now, again, this is 5 years in the future, so he now has a daughter, which I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't really feeling. I mean, I understand the fact that he has a daughter, but this whole love you 3000 thing, I'm not with it. I'm not with it.
Fucked me up. That's the one scene I almost
I know, because you're coming at it from a different like vantage point than I am. I'm looking at it just strictly from like the lines and stuff, but you're looking at it more from like the emotion behind it and how you feel. For me, it was like that line was just like, come on, like that seems.
Well, I mean, she's a little kid, right?
Love you 3000.
Yeah, it's a little kid. It's what little kids say.
Is it?
Yeah, little kids say, I love you this much.
Little
I
kids
love
say
you
the
as big as
darndest
I love
things.
you as big as the moon, as big as the sun, right?
Yeah,
That's how they quantify like the amount of something, right?
Yeah.
As big as this, as big as that. Love you that hit home. But yeah, so obviously Ant-Man brings this. It's Captain America and Black Widow, who are, they're having this really really like deep conversation, right, where they're kind of talking about where each other's at in dealing with the events that have transpired. You can tell Cap is having a hard time dealing with it, because he's talking to Black Widow about his kind of like his hypocrisy in he just gave the men at the group meeting advice talking about moving on. But clearly he has not.
Right.
Clearly Black Widow has not, or Natasha has not as well. So he feels hypocritical. He feels like he's giving advice that he's not taking. She's doing the same thing. She might even be in a darker space because she's holding.
No, she's still in it. She's basically the only Avenger really sort of holding down fort. Right?
Yeah.
She's the quintessential, or not quintessential, but like she's the essential default leader of the Avengers in that case.
Yeah,
she's the only one manning the ship.
And then the thing here is like, what hope do they have left, right? And it seems like they have none.
And then Scott Lang pops up
at the front door.
So again, they go find Tony. They explain to him, hey, we've got this quantum thing. What are you looking to do? And he's like, piss off. I've got a kid. Not worried about it. And then they go talk to Bruce Banner, who is now Professor Hulk.
Yeah.
I still feel mixed about Professor Hulk.
I didn't love it.
Yeah, it was like the CGI kind of threw me off a bit.
It seemed very cheesy, very gimmicky.
What they do for Thanos? I feel like they didn't use the same equipment that they used for Thanos that they used for the Hulk.
Yeah,
the Hulk didn't really look that great.
He didn't, and again, trying to mix the Hulk with still having it feel and look very much like Mark Ruffalo. I can imagine that's a challenge.
Yeah.
Whereas, Thanos wasn't made to look or
Like,
to mirror Josh Brolin, right?
Well, I mean, a little bit, but yeah, I understand. your
Yeah.
point there.
So I can imagine that's difficult to achieve while maintaining realism. But
yeah, I just wasn't. I wanted to like it. Like it actually seems
spend
like a
an
pretty
extra
cool
day
idea.
on it. They should have just had a few people, one more day.
One more
retooling.
million. Yeah, let's spend 1 more million on that.
But so they meet. This Professor Hulk is introduced, and the theory of time travel, but they don't really refer to it as time travel, right?
No, they do. They basically they try to get around it at first. They're like, well, this and that, but then I think he's talking to Iron Man when he says that, or you're talking to Tony when he says that. He's like, no, not time travel, just and then he's like, time travel. And then they what I love about it too is then they start riffing on time travel, they start talking about all the old fucking time travel
hot
movies,
tub time machine,
and how they don't work, and all the plot holes and shit.
I did like how
that's good,
Don
being
Cheadle's
meta.
character, what's his name? War Machine.
Yeah,
he does a lot of times throughout this movie play the comedic relief.
He does,
right?
I mean, but in all of the fucking Iron Man movies and Avengers movies, he's always a comic relief.
And it's funny because if you know Don Cheadle,
kind of a serious actor.
He's a serious actor, right? He's not like the joking guy.
Yeah, but I think in his later years, or in the not later years, but in his more recent stuff, he is sort of he's played I know he's in the show. What's it called? House of Lies.
House of Lies. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't imagine, because I haven't really watched the show, but from it that I've seen,
the serious but sarcastic
funny,
or funny guy. Yeah.
So that I see him sort of playing that role, and he did it really well. And I should say this off the top, and although we're halfway through talking about it, but everybody did a everybody did a fucking fantastic job in acting in this film. I don't think there was one weak link among them. Besides, for whatever reason, Zoe's Saldana Escamora didn't. I wasn't feeling it. I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why. I think it's because of the lack of emotion that I think I saw from her. And maybe that's just that's actually probably a hallmark of a character, especially the Gamora that we meet is one of the earlier stages. Gamora.
Even in Guardians of the Galaxy, her relationship with Quill, she always still is somewhat reserved.
Yeah.
Right? Somewhat drawn back.
And I guess perhaps she's doing a serviceable job given what she's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't buy it.
Yeah. She's playing Gamora still in the time frame which she's under Thanos' control, right?
Yeah.
Emotionless.
And again, I completely understand that, but I just wasn't feeling it for whatever reason.
Yeah. She's probably working on other projects.
Yeah, she's like, look, just get me off set. Right? Get me out of this green shit, all right? I'm tired of cleaning green shit out of all my fucking clothes. Okay, so they talk to Professor Hulk, and he's like, all right, hey, I'm on board. Let's do this shit. So they try some things out. Doesn't work. And then Tony's like, fuck it. I need a night sleeping on it. And then he wakes up. He's like, I figured out time travel. That was the only point in the movie I was like, all right, this is kind of dumb. He just, after one night, one simulation, he's like, I got it. Guys, I figured out time travel. What? In one fucking night? You just what were you fucking watching an infomercial for fucking ShamWows, and you're just like, I got it.
Yo, I
so
miss
all
the
makes
ShamWow.
sense now.
The ShamWow guy should have made an appearance in this movie.
Yeah, he should have been the guy, the security guard that let fucking Ant-Man out. All right. But yeah. So Tony, within a matter of 10 minutes, figures out fucking time travel.
Yeah, I did love that.
Yeah, it was way too quick.
Exactly. And from editing perspective, from perspective of whether or not do we really need to see Tony go through the trial and errors and the failures, and maybe he has a breakthrough but then that fails, and then try again to get to where we need him to get to in order to make this all happen.
Yeah.
Did we need that? No. But I would have at least liked to have
or just
seen
some time passed. That was a significant amount of time. So for instance, in the amount of time, what I would have did, and I haven't thought about all the details and what it would sort of have caused, but I would have put this scene where they all try to figure out how they're going to go back and get the stones. I would have put that ahead of Tony actually figuring out time travel. You know what I mean? I would have had them going into it thinking, shit, We don't even know how this shit's gonna work. We're gonna fuck it up. Somebody's gonna come back as a baby. Somebody might come back as an old man. Who knows? But they were still gonna do it. But then Tony comes in the last second, like, guys, you guys are crazy. I figured it out, you know? And that would have bought him the time needed to be like, all right, some decent amount of time has passed from when they first saw him to when he figured it out. Because literally, it like they came to him in the afternoon. He like, you know, that night he just wrote that, he jotted down a couple things on his notebook. You know, he bounced some things off of Pepper real quick. Then he was like, you know what? I figured it out. I figured out the equation. Yeah. What I don't know what school he went to figure out what kind of math he was taught, but yeah, he's lightning quick, that guy.
And it wasn't like he dug up some old files and finally put two and two together.
Yeah, he was just
right.
Like, let me sit down and actually think about it.
Yeah, he was just like, you know what? Let me upgrade to the new iOS software. Let me fucking punch in these numbers and these codes really quickly. Bow, time travel, as if it's that fucking easy. So yeah, I mean, I would have liked to have, like you said, maybe a week has passed,
something,
and
you
you
know?
see him tooling with it, stepping away from it,
coming
going
back
to it.
But he was just like, I don't know, maybe he was talking to, was it Jarvis or Friday? Somebody he was talking to. He was just like, whatever his computer program is, he was like, run this thing real quick. Do that. No, do this. Oh shit, that's it. I got it. We out of here. Like, what the fuck? Like, this isn't like, you didn't just, it was almost as if he just like, he already knew it.
Yeah.
But was just kind of like, I guess I'll put the effort into it. You know, like, I don't know. The whole thing was
I
just,
wouldn't be
was not
surprised if like he maybe have already had an equation and he was just like, you know what? He
at least allude to it then.
Yeah, he
like,
never tried it because he knew that, you know, like he said to
Paul
Pepper.
Rudd's character gives him some sort of data that helps him sort of come to some sort
at
of
least
conclusion.
show Paul Rudd's character sliding him the flash drive.
Like something, you know, like give me the fucking.
He was like, "Hey, Kanye's album is on here too. Yandy is on here too.
Yeah.
I had to cut open my Yeezys."
He almost threw it away. He almost was like, "Fuck this shit."
So here's time travel and here's Yandy. Tell me what you think about
I did
track
have
number
to cut
2.
my Yeezys in half for this. So
or maybe we go
use
back
it
and we
wisely.
make him not make this album.
Yeah, whatever we do, right? Forget the time stones. Make Yeezy not make that. Okay. So we get to the point where now we're about to, you know, they figured out shit, and they send Hawkeye, and Hawkeye he had a pretty good storyline in this.
Yeah.
I thought it would be trash.
He suffered the greatest loss.
Look, he actually starts it off very emotional. Like, so we think of this, the snap and the, you know, oh, Peter Parker dying, these superheroes dying, all this other stuff. At literally the second Infinity War begins, we see Hawkeye with his family just chilling, and we see from what just a regular person's standpoint what the fucking snap looked like, and it was fucking horrifying.
Yeah,
it was. Could you imagine that?
Immediately loses his daughter.
Be talking,
right?
Talking to your family. You got your family over there fucking with the kids, and you know you're over here with your kid, and then like you like go fucking tie your shoe or some shit. Look up, she's gone.
Yeah. And I mean,
turn around
for any parent, like
in
this movie, like, you know, the feeling of like calling out to your kid, and if they don't respond in
your heart
in 1 second, you go, holy, like, where the fuck are you? Like, what happened? Make sure everything's okay. So could you imagine calling out, like yelling out and running around looking and not finding your kid?
That's actually one of my worst nightmares.
Oh
like,
my God.
To not know what happened to somebody. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, because I've always thought about that. Like, when I see somebody or if I'm talking to somebody and like they go away from me, I'm like, if they hit like a corner, I'm like, what if I just don't ever see that person ever again?
No, I mean, it's a very real fear too, which is the crazy thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, he loses his daughter and he calls. I think he asked his wife, like, have you seen her? She may have still been there at that time. I don't remember that part exactly, but
no. They were all pretty much gone at the same time.
At the same time,
But
I thought
like,
he lost his daughter first.
No.
And
So he
looks for her.
No, he looks for her
And
first.
in that time, he loses his wife and his
By
son.
the time he turns back around and tries to ask his wife, she's gone too. The kids are gone.
And then it's like the fear, the confusion, all the emotions that you're feeling at that point in time. And like you said, he does not know this is going on.
Yeah.
In his reality, he's just having a cookout with his wife and
Exactly.
children,
Yeah.
not
Terrifying.
knowing, you know, everything that's going on in
Simply
Wakanda.
terrifying. That was a great way to start the movie because it gives you a different perspective of the snap, of
Yeah.
what it cost, you know, and it just sets the tempo for pretty much everything following it. But anyways, they send Hawkeye back to test if this thing works. He goes back, it works. He's just about to talk to his daughter, but they bring him back, and he's like, "Oh shit, this shit works." And then boom, we're off to the races. So the plan is, and Fabe said it best because we all watched it together. Fabe said it best. And hey, and shout out to my man Dan, huge Infinity War, huge Marvel fan, or I guess Avengers fan. And we're going to talk about, I'm sure, about one of the moments where you know, Cap has a special moment a little later in the movie, and he, just like everybody else, fucking lost their mind when this fucking moment happens. But we'll talk about that a little later. What was I just talking about?
Damn.
Summarize.
Fuck.
My brain's going too fast. I'm just trying to get to this fucking.
So we were talking about Jeremy Renner's character as Hawkeye and his loss, and again his storyline.
We're off to the races.
Yeah.
And Fabe called it best when he said this was basically just a heist movie, which was that's an exact definition of this. Is essentially just a heist movie where their plan is to go back in time to where they know the stones are at and get the stones, and then eventually return those stones to that same exact moment, as to not disrupt that particular time period, because they know they can't change. They're going with the idea of a multiverse where they know they can't change their like time, meaning that they can't go back and then undo the snap for them, because in their timeline it's already happened. Nothing's going to fucking change that. But what they can do is grab the stones and wish those people back that had been snapped.
Yeah.
Back to this time 5 years later.
In
and
their
the
reality,
reason why
yes.
Iron Man is or Tony is adamant about doing that is because he has a daughter in this time, so he doesn't want to fucking go back or reverse the time to like 5 years ago.
And he says it. He's like, you know, I want to undo what's been done, but keep what I have.
Exactly.
Right? Which is a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I like about this movie is Professor Hulk. He kind of eliminates the other options, right? Of undoing the snap or going back in time and doing that and doing this, like, because there are a bunch of options here, right? If you have the ability to time travel. I think someone proposes, or Don Cheadle's
killing
character,
baby
War
Thanos.
Machine, proposes the idea going back and killing baby Thanos, and then Professor Hulk quickly explains why those things can't happen.
Well, just because of what I just said is that it wouldn't actually change their timeline. That would create a different offshoot timeline in which baby Thanos is killed and there is never a snap.
Exactly.
I'm going to get to that a little later, though. There's they actually kind of wrote themselves into a weird scenario.
But like from the viewer perspective, right? It allows you to isolate your focus on
to this
one
thing. Why they have to come back to this particular moment, and like why they essentially that they're not trying to erase the snap, which I think would have been unsatisfying for everybody, right? Like that would have been weird if we're just back in Wakanda and like,
and it gave
the snap
them
never happens.
It gave them in this movie the ability to like kind of go back to very like significant moments.
Absolutely, and it's
throughout these 22 films that have been made.
That's fucking great too. Like how often do you have the chance to like go back to like you've made 22 films that are really sort of separate from for all intent and purposes, and go back and have like scenes in those movies. And now that really kind of gets people curious about those movies, right? And they went back to some trash movies, like so. For instance, they went back to Thor 2. Nobody wants to watch Thor 2. There's nobody who's ever been like, you know what? I'm not doing anything Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's pop on Thor 2. Nobody's ever said that.
Yeah, I've seen it twice. There won't be a third time. But
why have you seen it twice?
Just because I'm a fan of this series, right? And like
it's been on TBS for the last 7 summers. I've never watched it
to see if you get a nugget. But yeah, you know, again, and this really, and I read an article which highlighted this. It was more like the series finale of like your favorite TV show than it was like a movie or the ending of a trilogy.
Oh, absolutely,
right? Because of those callbacks.
Absolutely, and they were great callbacks. Obviously, the best of which was when they went back to 2012 with the first Avengers movie. Some very great scenes in there. The best of which is when Cap is fighting Cap. That was fucking dope. And you know, he gets a couple of lines off, like, you know, where Cap's like, I can do this all day. And then he's like, "What? Yeah. I know,
Right.
And that's how we feel when we hear Cap saying that. It's like, yeah.
Because
We
he's
know
such
he can do
like
fucking all
you
that.
know
He's a Boy Scout,
Boy Scout, and
Yeah.
he's so Mr. Noble and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think in that moment, even he kind of was irritated
Yeah,
with
he's like,
himself. Like,
whatever.
all right, I get
Sure.
it.
So that was pretty dope. And
Great fight scene as well.
This leads me to my first, not objection, but just, and this is a question that I think everybody kind of has is, their goal is to get, there's 3 stones in 2012 New York at that particular moment in time, right? So it's Cap, Tony, Ant-Man, and Bruce that go back to this particular timeline. And their goal is to get the Tesseract, the Scepter, and then the Time Stone from Doctor Strange. Bruce goes to what he thinks is Doctor Strange, but what ends up being the one or the old one. Is it the one or the old
I think it's the one.
The one. And finds her, and she, I don't know, they kind of have a useless argument, and he's like, yeah, just give me the stone. And she's like, all right, whatever. Yeah. Just bring it back.
No, but I think she calls out some very important things, right? Like about the different timelines and how the stones are important in like different realities.
Yeah.
To kind of confirm Professor Hulk's initial theory
about
in their time.
Yeah.
And it also sets up what we see at the end where Captain America then has to go back and return the stones to those realities at the exact moment. So
it does.
It ties it all back.
I
made
just
sense.
for the sake of brevity, I'm trying to summarize it. But
and I think in a previous episode, I knew that she would play a significant role in this storyline.
Yeah,
I thought she would play a different role than what we saw here. But
I thought she would play like more of like a fighting role, like where she would like be in on the action. But I guess she doesn't get in on the action until.
I'm good.
Yeah. She's like, you guys
got
have fun.
This rent control apartment with a rooftop deck.
Did you
I'm
know my square footage is here?
Yeah.
Fuck. So anyways, so that's Bruce's job back in 2012. So you have Ant-Man and Tony going to find the Tesseract, which it's kind of a dope scene where you see the last scene in the first Avengers movie where they're all ganging up on Loki, and then it shows them walking him out of the building, and then nice fucking cameo from Robert Redford as the dude from Winter Soldier. I forget what his Pierce.
Yes.
From the Winter Soldier, and then also
he has no upper lip, which makes his face even look interesting. But Robert Redford, phenomenal actor.
Yeah, phenomenal actor. Although I honestly didn't like him in Winter Soldier, oddly enough. But then they also had the dude from the Winter Soldier as well, which is what's the dude's name? The black guy, bald head.
From what?
The Winter Soldier. He's like the dude who's like a part of Hydra.
Yeah.
Damn, I forget what his name is, but so they had him there too. Good cameos. Long story short, Tony, they end up causing some ruckus. Tony, our timeline, Tony ends up getting the briefcase with the Tesseract in it. He's about to walk out, and here comes the fucking Hulk from 2012, just wilding out as usual, knocks the shit out of Tony's hands, and then Loki conveniently grabs it and disappears with it. He they make that fucking shimmering shit.
Yeah, and we talked about this. Like,
we did.
Your question was, in that
where the
reality,
fuck did Tony go or Loki go?
Did he travel? And I think he's still in that reality.
Absolutely, he's still in that reality. But that reality, like that's another reality. Like we're gonna have to explore that sometime. Yeah. They can't just like, all right, he dipped out. It's pretty much in the story.
Yeah. So here's why, and I thought about this a little bit more. Here's why. To be honest, I don't really care to know what
because in our timeline it doesn't really matter.
So in our current in the timeline in which the movie is predominantly based, it doesn't
really
matter or affect anything.
Absolutely.
And we know that Loki, and I feel like one of the characters in a previous film had said this to Loki. You know what? It was who's the other Shield agent that died in the Avengers movie? White guy.
Lomo.
No. He was an agent of Shield. He was like the guy who'd been in all of the movies and.
Coulson.
Coulson, yes. Yeah. And Coulson said to Loki, like, you don't have the conviction to see your plan through to the end, right? I think his plan was to destroy the Avengers and break them up and manipulate them all and blah blah blah, right? And Coulson is like, you don't have the conviction to see this through.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is Loki's character. He might be the god of mischief. He might be able to trick you and mislead you, but at the end of the day, he just doesn't have what it takes to accomplish something to the stature.
No, because his goals are always stupid. Like that's what's
they're always singular.
As good as Loki is, the guy Tom
Holland.
No, it's Tom, or I don't know, I forget what the fuck his name is. Tom something. Yeah, but he as good as he is at playing Loki, he never really had like a good like storyline. Like it's always like, hey, I'm adopted, so therefore I'm throwing a temper tantrum. Like it was never something like concrete of like, like, hey, like Thanos. Thanos had like a fucking legitimate thing that we related to Thanos in that. Oh shit! Like you're. That's sadistic to fucking get rid of half the universe.
And I think unfortunately that's because how his character was written. His character was written to more of.
Those early Marvel villains weren't that great.
Yeah,
let's just be honest.
His character was written more of like Loki. He was more so the god of mischief than someone who has a complex storyline. Someone who has like a real personality, a character you can actually relate to. He was just like, I want the Tesseract because I want humans of Earth to bow to me and treat me like a god, and that was kind of his singular purpose.
Perhaps he was working with Thanos, so he's just like being his little bitch and whatnot. Okay, so that was a good scene where Loki disappears with the Tesseract, and then Cap is fighting himself for the
Great
scepter,
fight scene.
which the scepter has the Mind Stone in it. Great fight scene between the two. It was pretty dope. And then they get all that, but then they lose the Tesseract to Loki. So then they're like, fuck, we need to go somewhere else and get it. So they have like one shot to do this with, because of the shit that the quantum realm, Pym particles, or whatever the fuck they call them. And so Cap and Iron Man decide to go back to 1970 to retrieve where Hank Pym as well as
Howard
Stark are in the same place at the same time, and that allows them to get the Tesseract as well as get more Pym particles, you know. And so it was cool that we see Tony get to meet his father, which is dope. Yeah, I knew he was dying at that point. I was like, yeah, he's pretty much a goner. Like, you don't reunite somebody with their dad. And then, and you know what made me know that he was going to die is that he got to meet his dad, but then Cap didn't get to talk to Peggy.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, so that clearly is like they're tying that storyline up.
Yeah. So you know what I thought there? Because you remember in The Winter Soldier when Tony Stark finds out who killed his father, and that was clearly the Winter Soldier, and he finds out how, right? Yeah. It was his mother and his father. They were in their car together. I think they were coming home from like dinner or something like that, and they were assassinated by Bucky. So that's what I thought was about to happen in that particular scene, right?
Oh, no, I knew that was well before it.
Yeah, so again, because I was trying to figure out when Tony would have been born, and
no. So Tony, they were, and they.
But Howard Stark was going home to his wife to celebrate, I believe, their anniversary.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, like, oh, is this like the moments before they were assassinated by the Winter Soldier?
No, the Winter Soldier was like 1995, or it's like in the 90s.
Yeah, but obviously then they had the conversation about how like he's about to be a father and he doesn't know like how to act or what to expect and blah blah blah. So then it all made sense how early on or how far back they went. Yeah. But again, just that moment was like,
yeah, that was touching, man. That was a tearjerker moment. Yeah. And then so anyways, so they get the Tesseract and then they come back, and then in the other, because they split them up into like 3 teams, right? So you got that group, and then you have
was there too much effortlessness there?
I feel like there had to be a bit of like just let's just get this shit over with. Like if it would have been like half the movie of them struggling trying to get these stones, I'd have been like, yo, just come on, motherfuckers, like just get this shit and let's get the fuck out of here.
Because they very easily snuck through this military base, and again back then they didn't have RFID chips where you had to
Iron
scan
Man
in.
and Cap. If they can't get through, who the fuck could?
Yeah. Again, it did seem just somewhat effortless.
It did. But I suspended my disbelief for that. So then, anyways, we move to so you have Nebula, War Machine, and Natalia, Black Widow, and Hawkeye, right? So they all go back to, was it 2013 or 2014? I think it was 2014.
It was 2014. Yep.
Yeah, they go back to 2014 when they knew the Power Stone, which is of course how Guardians of the Galaxy started. Was what's his name? Peter Quill, Star-Lord. He was just about to get the Power Stone, which is at the beginning of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So they go to get that, but then they also know that the Soul Stone is on Vormir, so they kind of want to go 2 for 1 here.
Yeah.
So Nebula and War Machine go get the Power Stone, and then Black Widow and Hawkeye go get the Vormir. Now that I think about it, I think Nebula did kind of set them up. I know there's an argument of whether she knew about the Soul Stone, that she didn't actually know about the sacrifice that would take place, but it's kind of like, when they were kind of drawing the straws, she just made sure she had the long straw. She was like, I ain't going to that bitch.
At the same time, even if she knew that, right?
Yeah, I was joking, but I
well, she knew that she has nothing to offer.
No,
right?
and nor did anybody else. So
Nor
that makes me wonder, like, okay, well, what if they do, like, what if they would have sent somebody who has like nothing to like offer? Like they sent Nebula like
it would have just been like when you're trying to get into the club and you're not dressed right. It's like, sorry, can't let you in. You're just like, but like my friends are inside. we just need the Soul Stone. Like, they're already there. Can I just go in?
Hey, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Can't let you in.
Hey, what you want me to do? It's just my job.
He was basically and what was his name? Red Skull. Who appeared in Captain America: The First Avenger. He's basically a club bouncer in New York.
Basically. Yeah. He's just being a dick for no reason.
Sorry, can't let you into Vormir.
Hey, those ladies in the back over there, you guys are good.
You have to sacrifice your rent money. You may not have a place to sleep, but I'll give you the Soul Stone if you got that cash on you.
Yeah, and that whole scene. So I've heard people debate online about who should have sacrificed themselves. I was satisfied with it, and I want to say something very controversial. I actually love Black Widow as a character, as well as I love Scarlett Johansson's portrayal of her. But let's just be honest, they gave her shit to do in Avengers. They didn't give her jack. She didn't give, in the last like 3 movies, she has nothing to do.
Yeah, she was sending emails. And I think she had to appear in front of Congress and testify one time.
Yeah. Okay. So she, but that was Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Was that at the end of Winter Soldier?
That was at the end of Winter
it was like
Soldier.
Her, then Mark Wahlberg testified. Or sorry, Mark Zuckerberg.
I was like, maybe.
I think it was her, and then Zuckerberg had to testify.
He was right after. He's like, man, fuck, why did I have to be?
And then Michael Cohen.
One after another. Yeah. It was just a busy afternoon in on the state grounds. And they gave her a little less to do in Civil War. She still had a pretty significant part to play in Civil War, but a little less to do. And then in fucking Infinity War, and I kept wondering about this. Go back and watch Infinity War. Is it weird how low she talks the entire movie? It's like a weird thing to even notice.
Low and sexy, yeah.
No, but it's not even low. It's just low.
It's low and sexy.
Hey. We don't want to kill you, but we will if we have to.
Yeah.
Like, but she keeps that entire tone the entire movie, and I'm like, did I miss something?
I mean, you're probably just tired being on set all day watching like Cap.
No, but every
Iron Man film, like, know, right? Fuck, oh god, more fighting. All right,
well, I guess I'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so she dies. Of course, sacrificing herself for the Soul Stone, and her and Hawkeye kind of have like a fucking moment in time where they're trying to outdo each other to see who will sacrifice themselves.
It had to be her, right? Because if the plan worked, Hawkeye, his family needed him to come back.
That was the
right?
point of it.
So it had to be her.
Yeah.
But again, in that moment, before you really think about all those, like, you're just like, I
wanted it to be Hawkeye. I was like, Hawkeye, just go ahead and take one L for the team.
For a second, I thought her, because she loved him, right? And she mourned
loved his family
for him.
too.
She loved his. So I thought her losing him might be the
More.
greatest loss.
Yeah.
But when you look at who's losing more of what, like she's losing, if she dies, that's it. She has nothing back there, right? She has nothing.
I mean, the
back
Avengers
home.
are her family, whereas Hawkeye actually has a separate family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the greatest loss was clearly
would have been him sacrificing himself. But then also, like, so you have her sacrifice herself, right? And then I as much as I think that's about like, oh man, like it just makes sense. I think it was a business move. I think it's a business move on Marvel's part because they already announced the Black Widow movie. So what does that cause? That cause what's going to happen in the Black Widow movie now? What's going to go on with that movie? Not even sympathy. You're just curious. What the
storyline?
What the fuck is going to happen? Yeah. So that actually makes fucking perfect sense.
Clearly going to be set in the past because it can't be.
It might be.
Post Infinity War.
Might be. Again, that would go into my theory of, you know what, that's going to just, fuck it. I might as well just get it out now. So at the end of the movie, Cap goes back, returns the Infinity Stones to all their rightful places. How the fuck did he get the Soul Stone back to where it's supposed to be?
To Vormir?
Yeah. Or even if he got to Vormir, what the fuck did he do? Because it's supposed to be a soul for soul, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
But if you're just returning it, you're like, hey, I don't have to give you no soul, do I?
No, but that's exactly what has to happen. You have the soul for a soul, right?
Well, that's if you are if you're set out to acquire the stone. If you're returning the stone.
But why don't the rules work? That doesn't make any sense then.
Wait, I sacrifice someone to get it, and I'm bringing it back, and I gotta sacrifice somebody else?
No. That means, that means when you give the stone back, you get something in return, right? Because you're a soul for a soul. So it's my theory. We're not doing any fucking past shit here. She comes back.
That would be very interesting.
And honestly, that tracks. Although that would be in a separate universe. Mm-hmm. That wouldn't be. Although, could it be in this universe?
Or is Vormir somewhere else?
No.
Right?
No. Vormir is a different planet in space, but it's the same universe. You know, you can have a multiverse, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all in the same universe. Like everything that happens on Vormir in this timeline, it's happening in this timeline, even whether you're on Vormir or Earth.
That would be interesting if in her standalone film they revisit that Cap going back.
I think that's what happens. I think that's what happens.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, because I don't think they're just going to do a backstory shit for a character that's already dead.
Yeah,
like that just seems like okay, that's one and done.
Yeah, so I wondered. I guess my question is already answered, but I guess every time anyone goes there to get the stone, they have to throw someone down right to the bottom of the
someone or
the
something.
Cliff. Someone or something. I mean, what would be the thing though? Like
actually, no. They always say, you motherfucker!
Did you throw your Yeezys down there? Your Super Bowl tickets for the Soul Stone?
Your Yeezys with the fucking that with the thumb driving them.
This is a signed autograph of Michael Jordan. And he's just like, all right, here's a Soul Stone.
Yeah.
Like, how easy is it? Like, how great does your sacrifice
I think
have
the
to
line that he says kind of speaks to that. He says a soul for a soul. Mm-hmm. So I think
Kanye would have to throw himself.
Of course he would. Yeah. He'd have to clone himself and then throw himself in there.
But like he still wouldn't love his clone more than he loved himself.
No, absolutely not.
So even if he cloned himself, he'd still have to throw himself over.
What happens if you throw yourself in there?
I don't know.
Because assuming everybody loves themselves.
Yeah.
Would you just be dead with the soul stone in your hand?
Yo,
you won.
That's a great question.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's a really good. Yeah. I guess that's why they didn't send Kanye and Hawkeye.
It makes sense now. Okay, so they get the. Okay, so probably my least favorite moment, and the moment that I do cry foul on, that just fundamentally doesn't make any sense, and this is another Cap thing of when he returned the stones. We get Thor, and we've talked this long, and we haven't talked about Thor's fucking epic Endgame persona, which he gets just fucking after chopping off Thanos' head. He gets fat, and just drunk,
fat,
and
lazy,
it's
drunk.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
it is hilarious what fucking happens to Thanos. It's not hilarious that he stays like that. I thought for sure he was going to change, and honestly, a bit of me would have been disappointed a little bit if he would have changed, like if he just would have used some sort of magic shit to like
and
whip
just get his
back
abs back or something.
Yeah, but also it was hard watching him in his like fat
Fat
Thor
Thor.
suit,
Yeah.
fucking trying to fight things. It just looked bad. I was just like, come on, man. You're not fighting him at 100% here.
Yeah, but I am happy that
they stuck with it. They saw it through.
Because if he just like
it was brave.
spun around his axe and all of a sudden was chiseled again, I'd be like, all right, dude, fuck out of here.
Yeah,
that doesn't work like that.
That was really kind of brave decision on their part to.
And
to
they
kind of
couldn't take the time to go through his weight loss process.
No, like he could have hit the gym or something.
Spin class and hot yoga and Orange Theory.
Yeah. So they go back to 2013, Thor 2. Sadly enough, we all had to sit through that again. And they get the reality stone from Natalie Portman because apparently she had it in her in the movie. Again, don't ask me to explain that. It was stupid when they came out with the movie, and it's still stupid now. But
it wasn't entirely stupid.
It was a dumb movie. But Thor gets a chance to talk to his mother. His mother sort of gives him some words, and he's like, you know what, you're right. I should stop acting like a little idiot and just go do what I gotta do. And then, but also Rocket is with them, and he's tasked with getting the reality stone from again Natalie Portman, who has it in her. Interesting tidbit. Right after the movie, I said to Fabe, I was like, they didn't shoot that scene. Like Natalie Portman wasn't in this movie. What they did was take footage from Thor 2. Because if you notice, when she gets from the bed, she just randomly just wakes up from the bed, which like looks like it's like a weird moment, right? Like you don't see anybody else in the scene with her. She wakes up from bed and she like starts walking out, but you never see her face when she walks out of the room. You just see her feet and then Rocket sneaking up behind her. What they did was spice it together. I said it then, and then I read it.
And that does not surprise me at all. Like I knew that. Because of how small, I mean, her scene where they show her face. Then again,
was smaller than Ken Jeong. Yeah, is that his name?
Yeah, Ken Jeong.
I thought I was saying something super racist. But again, that makes me wonder why the fuck they had him in that scene then, because it was a weird cameo, and yet they had him in there.
Her being in the movie, even if they had to use old footage from another film, was necessary. It's just funny. It's just a interesting cameo.
Whatever.
But there was a scene in there. When they went back to that reality that I love, where Rocket was talking to Thor about not fucking this up,
and you think Thor's on board.
Well, no, not even, where Rocket's just like, come here, like come here,
and then he slaps.
Come here closer. He just slaps the shit out of Thor. Again,
that was a great scene.
They laid in some just like really good humor.
Yeah, they made him like the Lebowski of the Avengers, which was Thor. I'm speaking about Thor now, which was fantastic.
Dude,
he had such a. I'm sure he looked like he had a great time with that, and it really played well on screen. So Rocket runs up behind her and stabs her with some sort of thing to extract the reality stone from her. This is again where I cry foul, because even if Cap goes back and returns the reality stone to her, they've already fucked up that timeline.
Yeah.
So like what are we doing here?
Like, she would definitely tell the Thor of that timeline, hey, like there was a fucking raccoon here.
Stab me with some shit. And then Cap shows up 2 seconds later and gives it back to me. Like, I mean, are you going to do something about this, or are you just going to let that happen? Like, so yeah, that's another one that I'm like, they've either got to solve that or they're just going to like leave us hanging. Like, don't worry about that.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's not even the biggest part, right? So in that reality, Thor obviously, his hammer is still,
and he steals the fucking hammer from that time.
So he takes, I think it's Mjolnir. Right?
Just stop saying it. Just say it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
So he takes his hammer from that reality, and he takes it from that reality to the current reality, right?
Yeah.
Which means that he would then have to have taken the hammer from the Thor
that has it now.
That reality.
So the Thor now is like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah. So the Thor in that reality is like, yo, what the fuck just happened? Where's my hammer? And where is the Soul Stone? Why is Natalie Portman? Why is she healthy again? You know what I mean?
Yeah. This was
who's the raccoon?
The plot, and look, I will gladly take that.
Yeah.
Because
I'm fine with
because of what ended up happening with the hammer, which again we'll talk about here in a sec. I'm perfectly fine with that. And honestly, too, if you rob Thor 2 of the hammer, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we move beyond them acquiring all the stones. They've got the fucking stones now, right? But what happened along the way is Nebula gets fucking I don't know what the fuck happened with her. Her CPU gets fucking tangled up with somebody else's. She's on the same network as somebody else, you know, who has the same password and Wi-Fi.
She didn't have a secured Wi-Fi network.
Yeah, she did not. No. She had an open Wi-Fi network connection, and sure enough, she got fucking hacked by Thanos and the Nebula of that particular time.
Yeah. And here's where you just love the Thanos' character.
Yeah.
As well as Josh Brolin's acting, right?
Fantastic. Top notch.
And it's not like, oh, everything was just so easy and everything just happened and he figured out what was going on. Like, no, I mean, Thanos said in Infinity War, he was like, you know, he said to Tony Stark, he's like, you're not the only one cursed with knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So you're not just going to be able to pull one over, right, on Thanos without him, you know, getting an understanding of exactly what's going on here. So he figures things out very quickly and he uses Nebula as a tool to extract her memory, and see what happened in that reality.
Yeah.
And then create a plan to disrupt, or see what happened in past events when he did the snap to disrupt the current reality or their current plans to undo his snap,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And as he was piecing that all together, literally everybody in the theater was like, fuck. Like that's everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
I really did get the feeling of, God damn it, you motherfucker.
Shit, bitch, he knows. Like, it was one of those things. Run, bitch.
Run, bitch.
and like at that point, like, you know, again, I respected Thanos' character from Infinity War, but I also, my respect for him grew even more in really seeing how much of a strategist
and
he was.
You know how dope he is as an actor, and then also his character is, he sees what happens in the entire Infinity War, and what he says after is, I'm inevitable.
Yeah.
Like the cocky motherfucker is like,
one way or another is going to happen.
He's like, I fucking did it. You fucking bitches. I fucking did it. Like, and so that creates, we get to the third act of the movie, which, look, who gives a flying fuck what happened in the first two acts of the movie? When we hit that fucking third act, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, everything you could ever fucking want.
Yeah.
In any fucking superhero movie ever.
They return to the current reality. They've collected all the stones. You know, Iron Man has created a device which can harness the power of the stones.
A glove, essentially a gauntlet of their own.
Exactly. Thanos and Nebula uses the portal that they've created to,
or the machine, the time machine,
exactly,
to bring the Thanos and the ship and all the
to
fucking,
the current reality,
exactly.
Right? And then
with all the Chitauri,
Thanos
and all
pulls up in the race. You know, he's got the Bentley truck.
But before we say that, so Hulk actually puts on the glove, and he's tasked with making the snap of bringing everybody back to this exact time who got snapped away, right? So they bring everybody back who got snapped away to this 5 years later timeline, and just at that moment, Thanos shows up, like, where's my glove at, you know? So this is when everything sort of this is where everything picks up. This is where this is where, like, every fan of any Marvel movie or the comics got everything they've been fucking waiting for the past 11 some odd fucking years. We got everything we waited for, right? So Thanos, and you know what? Thanos is such a fucking G. He's like, first of all, he tells fucking Nebula, she's like, are you going to go find the stone? She's like, no, you are.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, W, like, you work for me.
Yeah.
Daughter or no daughter. And then he just sits.
Yeah.
He puts his fucking he plants his fucking sword in the ground, puts his helmet on it, and just sits. And he doesn't even fucking like sit like he's like somewhere else. He sits in front of the fucking Avengers complex after they fucking hit it with missile after fucking missile after fucking missile. They don't know what's going on. Yo, how's Ant-Man not dead?
Yeah.
He caught a Scud missile to the face.
Yeah. He's just a regular guy. It's not like that suit
He didn't put his helmet on. He didn't do anything. He just got fucking hit in the face with a fucking Scud missile, and he's just like, I'm all right. Like,
There's no way in reality Ant-Man survives that.
Did
But
he
for
take
the
the
sake
fucking
of the movie,
super
I get
soldier
it.
serum?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Okay, so and then you see Thor, in his Lebowski sort of outfit, just staring out into the distance, and you see that he's looking directly at Thanos. Thanos is looking directly at him. Yeah, Thanos is just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm waiting for you guys. Oh, it was such a fucking good scene. And then we get the scene that we've been waiting for: Cap, Iron Man, Thor rolling up to him like, yo, what's up? They pulled up to him like, yo, what's up? What's up? We heard you was looking for us,
Yeah. What you doing around the block?
What you doing around the block, son? Yeah, they sounded mad New York when they did it too, like for no reason. What's up, son?
If this was if this was like a gangster, like drug dealer, like hood movie or whatever, they'd be like, yo, what's this nigga over here doing on the block?
Yo, yo, who that over there? Yo,
strap, boy.
It's like fucking Kendrick Lamar in Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah,
like, you gonna tell me where your mama at? You gonna tell me where your grandma at?
Where your grandma stay? Exactly. But I just thought that was a great scene. I mean, Thanos just planted himself, and he was waiting. He's like, I'm not gonna go to the battle. I'm not gonna go hunt them down. Nebula, you go get me the Infinity Gauntlet, and I'm gonna wait for the battle to come to me.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. Just that scene. I mean, the camera being so drawn back, you get the wide scope of, where Cap and Thor and Iron Man are standing, where Thanos is sitting, and you just see this epic battle to come. I thought visually it was stunning.
Yeah. No, visually it was. Just visually, everything in that final thing was just stunning. But let's get to the goods. So we have a scenario set up where, okay, they're fighting him. Nothing's really happening. He's fucking getting the best of him, and then Thor gets knocked down, and Thor is basically about to catch the Stormbreaker to the neck, and then you see the hammer move. You're like, I don't know, maybe Thor's summoning it, or maybe whatever's happening, and so you see it hit Thanos, and you're like, okay, and then the most fucking incredible thing happens. You see Cap just boom, summon the fucking hammer, and the entire theater in unison goes, what the fuck?
One of the best.
Oh my God.
And I can't even tell you how many movies I've seen in theaters, but they're very few theater moments like that where everyone just erupts and you're perfectly fine with sharing that moment with everybody around you.
Everybody fucking lost it.
And again, we saw some of this in the Avengers, where they're all
Age of
Ultron, where they're all trying to pick up Thor's hammer, and Thor just confidently sitting back like, none of you are worthy enough to wield
and then Cap
Mew, and Cap edges it just a little bit, and you see on Thor's face, he's like, holy shit.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And it's not about strength, that hammer.
It's about whether you're worthy
right?
to carry it. Because then you have like Vision, who Vision was able to fucking pick it up and toss it around and shit. So you see him pick up the hammer, and then he just goes to fucking work, giving fucking Thanos. He gave Thanos the fucking. He gave him the Pacquiao.
Yeah.
He was giving him the combos. He tossing the fucking shield at him, hitting it with the hammer, and they had a lot of good combos this. Where I know Thor and Iron Man had a good combo where Thor charged Iron Man up, and then Iron Man did his like fucking laser. It was fucking, that shit was dope. Just that whole fight scene was fucking incredible. But then you get to a point where Thanos again gets the upper hand, hammers Cap, and fucking breaks his shield. He's fucking, it's like half the shield is left, and you see Cap's arm's like fucking broken and shit. And then Thanos is like, man, fuck all this shit. And then he fucking calls the squad up. He calls for backup.
His entire army,
entire Chitauri, whatever the fuck they're called, and just all of them fucking show up, and you just see Cap standing there alone. Cap alone.
And here's where you understand like the depth of his character, right?
Yeah.
So he had a good run on Thanos. When he used Thor's hammer, but we saw Thanos being not only the intellectual that he is, but he's also a warrior. He's skilled in hand-to-hand combat, right?
Yeah.
So we obviously he gave Cap the business, because at the end of the day he's just bigger, faster, stronger. Breaks his shield. Everybody else is at this point kind of like beaten down. They're they're not present at the moment, and it's just Captain America standing against Thanos' entire fucking army, right?
Dude.
And what does Cap do with his broken shield? He just tightens up that strap just a little bit more, and Cap is ready to go.
Let's do it. But then what do we hear? Hey, Cap. I thought it was fucking Will Smith at first. But I heard, hey, on your left.
Yeah.
And you're like, on your left. And first of all, sidetrack here. The Avengers have the most incredible fucking earpieces in the fucking world, right?
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter what dimension you're in. It doesn't matter if you're on Earth. It doesn't matter if you haven't seen the person in about 5 years. Your shit still works. Like,
Yeah.
I remember first noticing this in Infinity War, where I'm sure there's
Rocket
previously,
and Thor are they're out in space.
well, that
Yeah.
but then also, which actually that's probably a better example that I'm going to give, but like Iron Man and Spider-Man, where Spider-Man like just came out of nowhere and they're like talking, but it's like, yo, Spider-Man's on the other side of the fucking park. Like, how are you having this conversation with him? With like no, like, are there like buttons where you can press where you can open your comms to some like specific person?
They just automatically
is
sync
everybody
up
hearing
and you
this?
can whisper. Like,
how do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah,
Like,
I just remember Thor was on like the when they're at Leia. Thor was out on like the dying star,
and then just talking to Rabbit.
at room volume, and I'm like, yo, how the fuck are they doing this?
But fucking Sam's been gone for literally 5 years. His shit it's not even the same brand anymore. And yet he's like, hey, on your left.
Yeah.
But then the most fucking dope shit happened. You see the portals opening up, the Doctor Strange portals and shit. And then Squad up. Yeah. Everybody we fucking know from every fucking film
from
pouring in.
From Wakanda, from
what was the one with Guardians of the Galaxy? What are they? I don't know. Whatever the fucking people are from the Guardians of the Galaxy.
All of Doctor Strange's people.
All
like
of the rest
wizards.
of the Asgardians that are left.
Yep.
Fucking just everybody
Valkyrie,
and anybody.
everybody.
And then Captain Marvel shows back up.
Oh.
That was a dope re-entry.
She shows up in a big way too. She doesn't just show up on set. She destroys his entire
ship. And they're like, what is that? Yeah. And then fucking here she comes just rocketing in that bad boy. That was exciting.
And again, this is where you see how powerful she is.
Oh,
right?
she's there's going to be she's going to be the person to look at. I know you have your feelings about her, but I think that they just have to get the right writers and directors in the room for Captain Marvel, because I think once they do, what Brie Larson is going to be able to, because I actually liked her character in this movie. I was going to be skeptical.
To be honest, I didn't dislike her in this movie.
Yeah,
I really
I'm telling
disliked
you
her
because
in her own movie.
it's the direction,
better direction, better writing, better storyline.
Yeah,
and
I still didn't fully like it, but I liked it better.
When you're surrounded by as much like talent and quality acting as she was surrounded by, you had to step it up.
Yeah. So she comes through, wreaks havoc, and then it becomes a case of who has the football, which they play with the Infinity Gauntlet.
How Hawkeye made it through any of that? Oh
no, he clearly runs a 4-4, either 4-4 between 4-4 or 4-3. Yeah, is what he runs. He should have been at the combine.
He's got wheels. He's like 38 in the movie, 39 in real life, right? But like, he's got wheels, right?
Yeah, apparently.
But it was fun watching that. Again, that like who's got the football type of. Again, it added a lightheartedness to a very serious part of the movie. You see him hand it off to the Black Panther, right? And then
and then he dips out like like they were like, yo, this kid's stats right here.
He gets love. He gets real love.
But do you know? I have to add one more thing into when we see all the portals opening up and everybody come in. They still were like, fuck you to the Netflix squad. They're like, look, the end of the world's coming. The Chitauri are showing up. Thanos is here looking for the fucking gauntlet. But fuck you guys. We don't need your fucking help.
You wonder where, because you know who would have been pretty good in this fight? Luke Cage, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
Maybe fucking, what's her name? Jessica Jones. She could have added to it a little bit. She would have went heads up at least a little bit with Thanos, who else? Fucking Iron Fist. As soon as Doctor Strange saw like the first season of Iron Fist, he was like, you know what? I think we're good. Yeah. I don't think we require your specialty.
We're from the same neighborhood, but
nah, you're good.
Don't call, don't text.
Okay, so so they're playing who has the football, and a bunch of people get the gauntlet. Eventually, Captain Marvel gets it, and her and Thanos have it out.
Great fight scene.
Great fight scene, and oh my god, you know what I was likening it to? Like when in Super Smash, when you get the fucking bat in Super Smash, and you just boom, and then whatever character who you're fighting against just fucking rockets off the screen.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what he did to Captain Marvel. He grabbed the Power Stone. It was like boom.
Yeah,
and she was out.
And she was leading that fight, right? Like she was clearly whooping his ass. But when he pulled the Power Stone from the gauntlet, it was over at that point.
How she lived, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then he did the smartest thing, which is he threw the fucking his sword into the fucking like the quantum machine that they had, which is smart. I didn't expect him to do that, but then he did, and I was like, oh shit, I don't know how they're gonna do this shit now.
Yeah.
And then of course he gets the glove back, and then you're like, fuck, here we go again. But of course we knew how to end, and then Doctor Strange and Tony had the moment where he basically Doctor Strange puts up the one, meaning the one, and that's what I kind of liked about this too, is that they kind of went into that a little bit too, of like, you know, he saw this. Doctor Strange pretty much saw all this going on.
Yeah.
And was like, we've got this one shot. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
And so then, of course, Tony has a little tussle with Thanos, and Thanos does the snap again, but it doesn't work, of course, because Tony grabbed all the stones. And then, of course, Tony puts the stones on him. And Thanos, before he snapped, he says, I am inevitable. And then, of course, Tony, knowing that he has the stones, goes, and I am Iron Man.
Yeah.
Which harkens back to the first, the end of the first Iron Man movie.
Like, you know what? I am Iron Man.
Yeah. Which is a dope thing to do. And then, of course, Tony, snaps away Thanos and the rest of the his squad. And that pretty much is the end of the movie. And then, of course, we get the, Iron Man and his and them saying goodbye to Tony. They're not at the funeral, but at the like when they were there when Pepper. And look, I hate what's her name, Gwyneth Paltrow. Hate her. She's probably my least favorite actress. But that was a very good scene. She did a very good job with that scene. Everybody did a very good. And Tony was out of it. Tony was just like, yo, he took some fucking, I don't know if he was on shrooms or what, but he was out of that bitch.
Naturally.
Yeah, naturally after doing a snap, of course, we'd have to say that. And it was a very touching scene where she says goodbye to him because she's like, you can rest now.
Yeah.
Which was, that was heartfelt. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, that's a tough loss for her, right? Because in this reality, she's, their parents, they have a daughter. But she knew what had to be done. And they had a really good connection in that scene. I thought it was tasteful. She didn't overdo it. She didn't burst out into tears. It was kind of one of those losses where it's going to happen, it's necessary, and you're just saying like your final goodbye. So I thought that was tasteful.
Yeah.
His funeral, I thought it was tasteful how they panned from like set of characters to different sets of characters. Bro, his goodbye message to his daughter.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I heard the sniffles. I heard the cries through the theater.
Yeah.
I was about to drop too.
Yeah.
But I held it together. Definitely.
I tried dirty several times out the film. I had to like stiffen up, soldier.
This was a big weekend for anyone with the last name Stark, right? Whether it's Tony Stark, Jon Snow, or Stark, Arya, Sansa.
Yeah,
right?
Very Stark heavy weekend.
Right? So one of the debates that were going on after this movie was like, what hit you harder, right? Not Today or I Love You 3000.
Not Today hit me fucking hard because I was
me,
like, oh shit.
Yeah, for me, I Love You 3000. That hit hard. I was
Well, come on, you being you, like of course I hit you harder. Look, Not Today was just like, and okay, so we'll conclude this and then we'll see where we're at. But so all that happens. We see the ending to the movie, and then we see sort of the resolution with Cap going back with all the stones and having to return them to their specific times. Again, the Reality Stone, when he returns to that timeline, that makes no sense to me, but we'll just zoom past that. But Cap doesn't come back, right? Hulk keeps wanting to bring him back, but he's Cap's like, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
What he does is go back to Peggy Carter, spends pretty much his entire life with him. And then they see old Cap sitting on a bench who presumably clearly knew where they're going to be, what time they would be there, and is just sitting there waiting for them. He basically bestows upon Sam the Captain American shield, which basically he's donning him as the new Captain America, which is interesting because I would think I would give it to the dude who was another super soldier. But if you think about it, basically the Winter Soldier is kind of a mass murderer. You know, he's got some bodies on his list. Also, he's working for he has worked for a foreign power. So, maybe not the best Captain America.
There's some conflicts of interest there. I think he signed like a non-compete with Hydra. You cannot represent any other nation for the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay. So we get a new Captain America. I'm trying to think of what else happens at the end of the movie. Honestly, not really anything else happens.
I think that's pretty much it. He gives the shield to obviously what is it? Hawk? Falcon.
Yeah.
And I think there's a storyline to come there, right, Sam? So there's a storyline to come there.
They do have a Falcon and what's his name? Winter Soldier. Show coming out on the Disney Plus. And I'm never going to say Disney Plus. I'm always going to just say the Disney program. This is stupid.
Not saying Apple TV Plus. Apple TV. But overall, again, there were minor flaws throughout the movie, but this is This is a shining,
fantastic
golden,
end to the Infinity War.
I can't wait to see it again. I want to see it again. If I can't carve some time out this weekend to see it again, it'll definitely be within the next week because. Second time you watch it, there's got to be some extra little nuggets I pick up here and there. And it's just a great movie. I don't care if it's 3 hours long.
Well, what I want to do is I want to sit down and watch Infinity War Endgame back to back. So I'm okay with waiting till till it comes out on either on demand or
streaming
DVD.
I don't know. I need the big theater experience one more time.
I already saw it in IMAX. I'm good. Yeah. That was wall to wall screen, which we sat in perfect seats. Okay, so Endgame. That was our press play on it. We press play on Endgame and pretty much the entire world since it did like 1.2 billion opening weekend. Pretty much the entire rest of the world saw it too. So so we don't have to worry about people pressing play on that. Can you afford me 10 minutes, please?
Yeah, we can do.
Is it possible?
Yeah.
Because I know you got to get out of here.
I do got to get out of here.
I know. I need, I've been wanting to talk about this entire day because people have been really pissing me off.
Is it some GOT stuff?
Some GOT. Jesus Christ, I fucked that up. GOT stuff. 10 minutes.
What did I say? GOT?
I said.
I do have to.
You have to go?
I do have to go. I do have to make this run.
Motherfucker. All right. Well, that was the show. Yeah, we'll be back, and you know what? I might do an extra segment even after he leaves, just with me, just because I'm so fucking riled up and amped up about.
You know what? And you did mention that you had some theories that I don't have about Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. I'm interested to hear your theories.
Yeah.
So get it on here, and I want to listen back to it to see if I can learn something.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the show. As always, if you stuck with us this long, you're definitely a fan of the show, and we appreciate that. But hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that share button. This was a monumental weekend for film,
incredible weekend.
Cinema in general because of the two bookends. You've got Endgame, and then you got Game of Thrones. Probably the most anticipated episode of Game of Thrones being the Battle of Winterfell, which is also called the episode itself was called The Long Night. Just a fucking epic day. It was, and we saw both in the same day.
I can't wait to watch both again. Obviously, Game of Thrones comes on this Sunday, so I'm gonna watch that episode again before episode 4.
I already have.
You already have?
Oh, damn. Yeah. I already beat you to it. But I'm. Wait and see what I say with this.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll just go ahead and outro us here because Rain wants to be lame and dip out. But we will be back.
Run.
Yeah, that wasn't a song. That was just you doing it there.
Turn it into a song.
That's
outro.
not a thing. Yeah.
And on that note, fade out.
Peace.